Who was your voicemail?
It's from Lisa Carey, who is my real estate agent.
So let's say it's 2:47 p.m. She obviously knows that she got called into the police station. And she already heard somebody on the phone that there was a shooting on Trescott. And later she's also going to say that she drove by Trescott, that she went into it, and that as she was coming closer to her house, she must have seen the barricade that they put up. She claims that she thought it was a tree down or something like that, and she turned around and took another way to her destination. So let's see. So 2 hours and 2:47 p.m. Let's see what she does next.
Or who I had gone with to find a house. She just said she was driving around town and she heard there was a shooting on Trescott.
Yeah, that's what this is about. I'm sorry you had to hear it that way.
I'm sorry, I didn't know if I should.
It's all right, just leave it there. Is it still on?
It's right there.
Do you want to just hit play again for me?
Sure.
So instead of asking what kind of shooting, why am I called for a shooting, what does the shooting have to do with me? She's like, oh yeah, let's listen to the voicemail again. No questions.
Hey, it's Lisa Carey. It is Friday, and I feel like an idiot doing this, but I just heard that there was a shooting over on Trescott, and I promise I'm not trying to be dramatic or even nosy. I don't know. Just checking on you, my friend. I hope all is well. I hope your sweet boys are well. And if there's anything you need, let me know. It just ran a chill down my spine when I heard that there was something going on Trescott. All right, 212-3083. I hope all is well, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.
That's all right. You can stop it. Or does it stop automatically?
It's done.
Okay. Do you have your identification with you? All right, so you never took the last name of Markel?
No.
Adelson. Okay. Wendi with an I. Joe. All right. There was a shooting at your home, or your ex-husband's home, at 2116 Trescott. Okay. Your ex-husband, Daniel, all right, has been taken to the hospital. He's not going to survive.
Oh my God.
Okay, so number one, he says there was a shooting at the former husband's house on Trescott. Your former husband, is not going to survive. So he says a shooting, and he's not going to survive.
Okay.
All right, so as you can see, she's reacting. Of course, she thinks if she's guilty, right, if she's faking, she thinks that her appropriate reaction would be to cry, to wail, and all that stuff. Why would you put your hands on your face, cover your face, look down, do things like that? Usually it is because you don't trust your reaction. You don't trust whether you're going to be smiling at this moment, whether you're going to be exploding, your face is going to show happiness. You're not feeling the emotion yet 100% that you're trying to build up in yourself if you're trying to act. So she's not sure about how the face is going to look. And so the natural reaction is to cover your face, look down.
Well, before we get into everything, I have to establish where you were and who you were with and so forth. Okay? And then once we've established all that, I can give you more details.
Okay.
Do you understand why I wanted you to come here before I discuss this?
Oh my God.
okay. No, you have nothing to be sorry about.
I just don't understand. How could this happen?
Can you let me get over this hump, okay? Can we do that first? All right. Can you tell me what time you left your house this morning?
Yeah, I was there. I didn't leave this morning. I didn't leave until noon.
Okay. And
Oh my god! And I tried to drive up Trescott, and I saw that it was blocked.
it was blocked at some point.
Okay, so now she's volunteering information that she knows that the cops are gonna get because she was observed at the scene. She couldn't tell whether or not they realized it was her, but she was observed at the scene by a cop. Her phone obviously would show her being in this area as well. So she right away volunteers the fact to try to build some trust eventually, and eventually as the case is investigated too, because if you're gonna lie, you try to lie by putting in as much truth as you can.
I'm not sure what time it was
And I
blocked.
just thought, oh, there's maybe some trees down or something. Because sometimes
Oh, you're saying as you drove down which one of the side roads?
when I'm going to a friend's party tonight, and it's a oh my god, what am I even talking about? I needed to buy, it's a stock the shelf engagement party, and so I went to buy bourbon.
So she's already explaining away. She doesn't, obviously, if she's totally innocent, she wouldn't think I'm a suspect, right? I mean, she's already giving alibis. She's giving explanations for everything that she did. So she's now trying to explain why the heck would she drive by Dan Markel's house when she was gonna go have lunch with her friends on a restaurant that is in the north side of town. So it would be totally off her way to go that way. So she's explaining, already giving some kind of alibi and explanation for why she was there, that she had to go to the ABC liquor store because she was familiar with that liquor store. There's a liquor store almost right next to this restaurant that she was going to, but it doesn't matter. Is it possible that she didn't know about it? It's possible, and I guess it's possible that she was going to ABC liquor store. Sure, it's possible, but it looks suspicious again. She's volunteering explanations and alibis for her conduct.
Okay.
So I went to drive from my place up Trescott to get to ABC Liquor, and it was blocked, so I just turned around. I was on the phone at the time. I wasn't paying a lot of attention.
Right.
So I just turned around and drove up the other way. I just thought, oh, sometimes when I lived there were electrical things
Okay.
that would happen. I left my house around 12:15 because I thought,
Okay, so earlier she said noon, now she says 12:15. Not a big difference, but let's listen more.
I'll get the bourbon, and then I'll get some gas for the car, and maybe get super glue for one of the boys' toys. And I was trying to do all I can before meeting my two friends at 1.
Okay, who was at your house this morning?
The only person that was at my house this morning was a guy from Best Buy, because my TV was broken and it's under warranty.
Either of you.
Yeah, I figured.
So here we go with that TV, the famous TV, the one that Charlie Adelson gave her as a gift for the divorce and made that joke, oh, I looked into hiring a hitman, but instead I bought you this TV. That's the same TV with that joke about the hitman that was being fixed that morning because he had a crack that her kids supposedly made. So conveniently on the morning when this was supposed to go down, this murder was supposed to go down, she has partial alibi, a guy from Best Buy, who, as you'll hear now, calls her at 8 a.m. It doesn't say exactly when he arrived there, but stay all the way down to 10 a.m. So if he arrived shortly after 8, because usually call just before you get there, what was she doing to keep him around for 2 hours? And later you're going to find out that she also tells him this whole joke about the hitman. But let's observe now what she says.
Weird.
Okay, a guy from Best Buy was at your house to work on your TV?
I have his name and everything at the house if you
Okay.
want it, because the boys broke the TV, so he gave me a choice of fixing it or getting a new one.
What time did he come to the house?
He called me at around 8. He was probably there until around 10.
Okay.
Um,
Okay. And then you
And then
So I wonder what they were doing, between around 8 o'clock and 10 a.m. She's all alone in the apartment or the house with this guy.
after he left, I kept working on a paper, and I emailed the paper to a librarian at school to work on some of the citations.
Okay.
And I don't think I talked to anyone else, but I was just working for an hour or so from the house. I was going to take a shower, but I didn't. I ran out of time.
All right, that to me is important. It might not have been caught by anybody, right? But so here she says that she wanted to take a shower because she was obviously going to have lunch with her friends, but she ran out of time. Yet she drives off her way all the way down to the ABC liquor store to buy the liquor, which is away from her house, away from the restaurant in the other direction, and then drives up to the restaurant, where if she did a little searching on the internet on her phone, she would have known that there's a very nice large liquor store just 1 minute from the restaurant that she was going to. So again, that doesn't prove anything 100%, but it's a big time indicator that, look, that doesn't make a lot of sense. Why wouldn't you, first of all, buy the liquor afterwards and take your shower, or take your shower and first find out if there's a liquor store near the restaurant, take your shower, and on your way there's a Publix nearby, there's a gas station on your way up there. You could have done everything and still have plenty of time for your shower.
I did laundry, and then I left the house around noon.
To go to the liquor store and the stuff for the party.
Yeah,
Okay, you went down which road you said?
I went down Trescott.
Okay.
I saw a police car there, and I just thought it was blocked, so I just turned around and drove to, I went down the rest of Centerville, went up Benton, took Benton across, went to ABC Liquors, bought the bourbon.
I'm a little confused. You're up on Centerville Road. What's your purpose of driving down Trescott?
It's usually the shortcut to get to Monroe.
To get to Monroe?
I usually take it as a cut through to get to Thomasville or Monroe.
Okay, all right. So
I don't know why I said Monroe. I was thinking Mosaic, Monroe, Thomasville.
Okay, so when you come down into town on Centerville,
I almost always cut through Trescott.
and just drive by your old house?
Well, I do it as a way of coming to terms with a divorce. But yeah, sometimes I drive there. If I'm too sad, I drive around.
Okay.
If the kids aren't home and I know they're not home, I feel better about driving by the house. But yeah, it's shorter and I just usually drive by.
It's shorter than...
So, here we go. Somebody who obviously hated that Markel was very happily divorced. She wanted a divorce. She wanted to get out of Tallahassee. She claims that she drives by the house to come to terms with the divorce. That's a little laughable.
Going all the way down to Benton.
All the way down Centerville and around Benton. It's just a shortcut I always took.
Okay, so you turned around and went back to Centerville, I take it?
Yeah.
Down to Benton, and went to the liquor store down there on Thomasville?
Yeah.
The one at Benton Road?
ABC Liquors, it's at, Benton. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, did you make a purchase there?
Yeah,
And that was sometime after 12?
probably 12:30.
Okay. All right.
And I talked to a guy there because I don't really buy much alcohol, and so they wanted bourbon, and I asked the guy, we had a whole conversation about bourbon and
Right.
my eyes,
Your eyes?
he just said, your eyes are really blue,
Right.
and
You have contacts?
I do.
Okay.
But I just remembered it.
Right.
So I bought the bourbon and got some gas on Thomasville and met my friends at Mosaic.
Which gas station did you go to on Thomasville?
The one that's, I always forget the name, but the one that's close to the cross street. It's right next to the Goodwill.
Okay.
If you're heading north on Thomasville. If you're heading north on Thomasville, it's on your right.
Okay. Just past the Goodwill
Just
place?
past the Goodwill. It's close to the intersection there.
Okay. All right. And then from that point, you went straight to the
Went to Mosaic.
Mosaic restaurant?
And met friends there. I used to have kind of a steady Friday meeting, and I hadn't seen my two friends in a while. And so we had made plans to meet up.
What time did you get to Mosaic?
Usually people who are lying, they try to put in a lot of details. Keep talking so they can keep thinking about other stuff to say. But anyway, again, doesn't prove anything, but there are signs there that she might be lying.
About 1. I was a little late. We were supposed to meet at 1, and I got there a few minutes after.
Okay. All right. I know it's cold in here. Okay.
I think that's not why.
Okay. I know it's part of it, but do you know anybody that would have a beef against your?
Okay, so now we're almost 10 minutes there together. And she heard about the shooting. She heard that he's not going to make it. And yet, no questions at all about why is he not going to make it? Where was he shot? Where is he at? How do you know that he's not going to make it? Is there any chance? Anything like that? That's bad for her, I think.
Ex-husband?
He's, oh God.
I hate to ask it now, but I have to do it now. You understand, right?
I understand. He had friends. He always meant well, but he would sometimes rub people the wrong way.
Okay.
But not anyone who would do something like this.
Anybody that he owes money to?
No, he owes money to me.
He owes money to you?
But
Okay.
not me.
Okay. All right. All right.
Oh my God, we're poor kids. Oh, I know a lot of people didn't really love him, but I don't know anyone who would do something like this.
Well, we're still trying to determine, what happened and how it happened.
But he wouldn't do this to himself.
Okay.
He was a very positive person.
Okay. No one that you know of or that he's spoken to recently that he's had some type of problem with or that he was concerned about?
No one that he was concerned about. I mean, we've been separated for 2 years, so I don't know,
Right.
If he had something going on, I wouldn't know about it, but, I mean, I had lost my voice earlier this week, and so we had put off this conversation about our son's school and where he was going to go, and he, I can't, I know a lot of people didn't love him, but not anyone who would, hate him.
Okay.
He meant well, everyone that knew him.
Okay.
Knows that he means well, but he can be a little, argumentative.
Right.
But not, he didn't owe anyone money. He didn't do anything except work and take care of his kids. He wasn't involved in anything bad.
Okay.
Well, that's kind of favorable to her right there. She's trying to say that there wouldn't be any other suspects, that she, that maybe he rubbed some people off the wrong way, but that, he doesn't get any kind of drugs, anything dangerous. So that looks favorable to her.
I can't believe this is happening.
I know. And he was a professor at the law school, is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And your divorce has been 2 years or the total separation, I'm assuming?
Total separation's been 2 years. Our divorce was finalized last summer around this time.
Okay.
He wouldn't do this to himself. He has a girlfriend now.
Do you know his girlfriend?
Again, she mentions he wouldn't do this to himself. He's investigating, obviously, about somebody else. He's asking about her whereabouts. He's asking about other people. Why the heck is she asking about, saying that he wouldn't do this to himself? I just wonder if maybe the plan initially was to make it look like a suicide, even though, of course, the way that it was carried out is impossible because he was shot through the window and they took the gun with them. So I'm just puzzled a little bit about, she had no basis to think of a suicide at all. Why would she be making those statements?
I met her once in the last couple of weeks. She was visiting. She lives in New York.
Okay. Do you know anything about her?
I know some things about her. She's also a law professor. I know she's recently divorced and she has a son. I don't know if her divorce is final, but I think recently divorced.
Where's she a law professor at?
at NYU.
Okay.
And they seemed very happy, and I mean, I think that was a really good thing in his life. He seemed really happy about it. She came down here, she met the boys, and I met her, and she told me how great she loved the boys. You know, like it seemed fine.
Did she ever stay at the house with him?
Just that one time.
When was that?
I remember because I just got back from being with my family in South Florida. Sorry.
It's okay. You're doing great.
So what date was it? I went with my family. It was my dad's 70th birthday, and we went home for it. So his birthday was the 5th. I left Monday the 30th, so she must have come into town Saturday, the evening of the 28th.
What month? June? This past June?
Just now. So, June 28th, and then she was there with the boys the 29th, and then I met her on the morning of the 30th when I picked up the kids to take them to South Florida.
Do you know when she left?
I could probably find it, like in the email and stuff. I think she was here for like one more day, and then Danny went up to New York because I was with the kids in Miami for a good long while. I was there. I drove back July 10th, so I was there almost 2 weeks. And so I think he went up the next day.
Okay. Do you know her name?
I do. It's Amy Adler. Oh my gosh, she's
A.D.?
Adler.
And she's a professor of law at NYU?
Yeah.
What kind of car does she drive?
I have no idea. I don't know if she has a car. She lives in New York City.
Well, so, I mean, she was driving down. I mean, she flew down here, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Do you have her phone number?
I don't.
Okay.
I don't know how long they were dating even. It seemed kind of serious if she met the kids, but I don't really know. He's been going up to New York for like conferences and stuff since Lincoln was about a few months old. So he's been going up there 3.5 years. So my guess was that they might have known each other for a long time, but have been dating. I don't know how long.
Well, let me ask you something. Does his relationship with her have anything to do with your all's divorce?
No.
No, it had nothing to do with
No.
an extramarital affair or anything?
No, but the only thing I'm thinking is Amy. I don't know what Amy's full divorce situation is like, so if you're gonna think of someone who's not thrilled with Danny, I don't know how happy her husband or ex-husband is with the situation.
Do you know anything about him?
I don't know anything about him.
Okay. So you know Amy Adler, she's a professor at NYU. She was down here from the end of June through the first part of July.
I think just a few days.
Right.
Yeah.
As visiting, but he'd been seeing her when he goes to New York on these conference trips.
Well, he's in New York in the summertime. We have a week on, week off schedule with the boys. So whenever I have them for a week, he goes up to New York for a week. So he's been spending a lot of time up there.
Did he relay to you that he'd been seeing her up in New York, or that's where they met, or anything of that nature?
He didn't tell me about it, but I feel like he was pretty vocal with like our friends and people probably since December about her being his girlfriend. So
Okay. Who would be his best friend?
when we were still together, he had 2 best friends. Neither of them are in Tallahassee.
Okay.
Oh my god, I'm completely blanking on their last names right now.
That's okay.
Matt Price, that was his best man at our wedding. And Josh Berman, who, Matt is in DC and Josh is in New York. Actually, he has a friend, I don't know if they're so close, but he and the boys sleep over at their house a lot. They're in Cairo, Georgia.
Okay.
That's probably his closest friend here.
Do you know his name?
His name's Alex Greenberg. He's a veterinarian in town, and they've got kids around the same age as our kids.
He's a vet here in town?
Mm-hmm. And I think
Do you know
they're
where his
close.
office is?
I don't. Maybe in Cairo.
Oh, he doesn't have office in Tallahassee.
I don't think so.
He's a vet in Cairo.
Their house is in Cairo. His
Right.
wife is a dentist. I don't know if her practice is in town or in Cairo either. His wife is Maya. M-Y-A.
Okay. You're being very helpful, okay, and I know it's hard.
I'm trying. I just
You're doing
can't
fine.
believe what's happening.
You're doing fine. I know it's all of a shock. I know it's coming to you all at once. Okay?
I don't know who would do this.
Okay. Well, it appears from what we've seen so far that someone intentionally hurt Daniel. Okay? Intentionally. Okay? I don't
You don't
think.
know who it is.
No. And I don't
What if
think.
they come after the boys?
I don't think that's going to be. I have no indication at this time that that's a threat. Okay? But the boys are going to stay with you. You're not going back over to Trescott. Okay?
No, I don't live there anymore.
I know you don't. But the boys are going to stay with you. Okay? And they'll be fine.
I don't know if I can take care of them like this.
All right? Where's your closest family at?
My family actually just talked to my brother this morning.
Okay, so she talked to her brother that morning. Something that can be verified on the phone. And so basically, if she was sending information to her brother, to the murderers through her brother, then she kind of like justified the fact that that conversation happened.
My parents are in Coral Springs.
Okay.
And my brother, I have two brothers, but I'm very close to one of them who is in Fort Lauderdale.
Okay. All right. So that's where you're from originally, I take it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
His family's in Canada. Did they know? Did you tell them?
No, they haven't been notified
Oh
yet.
my God. His parents are going to be devastated.
Okay. This is what I want to do, okay? This is what happened, okay? Daniel's been shot, okay? And we have to find out why and who did this. Can you help with that?
I will try.
Okay. What I want to do right now to try to expedite things, okay, but I need your permission, is I want to take your cell phone and download all the information out of it.
Sure.
Do you have a problem with that?
No.
Okay. And then we're going to make arrangements for you to get the kids, or we'll get the kids somehow, okay? Because the kids are at daycare, right?
Yeah.
And they're going to need their mother,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you do that?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I got to get a form for you to sign, and then I'm going to get the phone started, okay?
Oh my God. I have a lot of friends.
I know.
So first of all, it's good for her that she agreed to let them use the phone. I'm assuming that she's not dumb to have anything bad on that phone, right? But anyway, so she does let them see the phone. This part's a little weird. She says, I have a lot of friends.
How do you know that?
Well, you had two of them up there for a last-minute lunch date, right?
Last minute.
Well,
She says, I have a lot of friends. And then he says, I know. And then she's like, how do you know that? Like, have you been investigating me?
I mean, you went up there, you're sitting with them, you have friends.
I do. What I meant by it is that Danny didn't treat me very well. And I'm
Okay.
so scared that maybe someone did this. Not because they hate Danny, but because they thought this was good somehow.
Oh, are you saying that you think maybe one of your friends would have done something
Who
like
would
this?
do this?
I don't know. That's why you're here, and that's why we're talking. Would you ever ask someone to do something like this?
Not in a million years.
Okay. Do you think someone would do this for your benefit without asking you?
No.
What good does it serve?
I made my brother his name's Charlie, the one I'm really close to, he makes a lot of jokes in bad taste, and it was a joke he made. He bought the TV for me this morning that got broken, and I was talking to him about whether it made sense to pay to fix it or whether I should get a new one, and it was always his joke that, like, he knew Danny treated me badly, and it was always his joke. He said, I looked into hiring a hitman, and it was cheaper to get you this TV, so instead I got you this TV.
I guess it looks like she's throwing her brother under the bus. But like I said, I think in the previous video, obviously, if he was really telling that joke around to a lot of people, they probably figured that the police would someday hear about it. So it's obviously better to deal with it up front.
I mean, he would never. He's my big brother, and he's been taking care of me since I was little, but he would never. And I told that to the repair guy this morning.
Right.
What? So, of course, we were talking about the coincidences and the fact that on the day of the murder, the same TV that is the source of the joke about the fact that it was cheaper to get the TV instead of hiring a hitman, that's exactly the same TV that has to be broken somehow, right? Supposedly by the kids, supposedly, and had to be fixed exactly the same day that he's being shot.
It's okay.
He asked me how much it cost, and I said I didn't know because it was a gift, because my brother said it was cheaper than a hitman. It was my divorce present.
Okay.
Such a horrible thing to say. I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
But even my family, who felt like I had been mistreated, would never do something like this. Never.
Well, you guys have been divorced for over a year. Has there been any type of abuse in that time?
Of him towards me?
Yeah.
No. It's, he's litigious, and we have an ongoing case because the house, it shouldn't be in my name anymore, but when we settled the case of our divorce, he said, one of the agreements the court said was Danny wanted to stay in the house. They said, you can have the house, but you need to pay her half of the amount of what the house is worth. And he agreed to it, and then months passed, and he just never paid me. Okay. And so we have ongoing litigation.
Okay, so she says months passed and he never paid me. That's incorrect. In the motion, she says that he paid $50,000, and so he still owed, I think, about $70,000.
Where I filed a motion in the court to have him pay me what he said he would, and he filed a counter motion for sanctions against my attorney because,
from what I recall, the motion for sanctions was against her, not against her attorney, for supposedly her, Wendi not being truthful in the affidavit that was filed during the divorce.
He thought that she did something wrong, which she didn't. But so, I mean, she withdrew from the case and was going to serve as a witness. So she's not going to lash out at him for it. She's using the legal process to do it.
Okay, so this is interesting. Remember, I had the theory, right? One of my theories. We're exploring a variety of theories here. So one of my theories was, hey, listen, maybe at the beginning of May, just when she was about to be deposed, she wanted to avoid the deposition at all costs. So she came up with an idea. She's an attorney, right? So came up with an idea. Hey, listen, you should serve as a witness for me in this case. So you need to withdraw because there is a rule of professional conduct that talks about how you're not supposed to be a witness and advocate in the same case. So my theory was that she asked her attorney to withdraw so that the deposition would be canceled, and so that there would be delay so the murder could be done, and then there would never be a deposition, right?
And I realized at that point in time that I was probably going to have to be a witness in this case because of what he was saying about me in the memorandum and the motions. And I can't be a witness and a lawyer in the same case by the Florida ethical rules. So I withdrew because I knew I would have to take a different role.
So now it's interesting that she's going into such details about the whole fact about the issue that her attorney withdrew. So she's first of all throwing her former divorce attorney, Christine Adamson, a very nice lady, under the bus and saying, oh my gosh, she's a potential suspect here. But, of course, why, she would probably use the legal system. But she's saying, oh, here's another potential suspect, right? Christine Adamson. In addition to that, it's kind of strange how she goes into that detail. She gives the detail about the reasoning why her attorney would withdraw from the divorce case. I think it's unusual for this type of interview that she's giving those details, which makes me think that maybe my theory was potentially right.
My parents are, very angry towards him. But even when they're around my kids, they would never say a bad word about my kid's father. They're really, really careful about that. They just like him, but they know he's the father of my kids. They would never do that.
Did she call him an asshole?
Yes.
A narcissist?
Yes.
A bully?
Yes.
Religious zealot?
Yes.
Bastard?
That I don't remember.
Page 5.
Okay.
Right.
I don't know who would be angry enough with him
Well, that's what I have to find out.
to do something.
So she's also saying, okay, well, potentially, I guess her parents, but, they're such angels, even though that Markel filed a motion saying that the mom was saying bad things about him in front of the kids. So she's saying, oh, they would never even say anything bad about that Markel in front of the kids because they know that he's the dad of my kids, blah, blah, blah. So she's saying obvious things. I mean, obviously, I think that there was a lot of knowledge that her parents, her brother were very angry at Dan Markel. So she's, making obvious connections to gain credibility or because she's being honest. We don't know for sure.
Think like this.
The brother that you're real close to, I have to do a lot of elimination at the same time. The brother that you're really close to, the one that joked about the TV and everything, what'd you say his name was?
Charlie.
Charlie, and he's in Fort Lauderdale?
Yeah.
Okay. Tell me what kind of car he has.
He has like 5 cars.
Can't tell me all of them.
He drives I think one of them is an unmarked police car.
Oh, really?
He's a bit of a character.
Okay.
So I don't know what he's driving at the time.
Right.
But I'll tell you, he's a periodontist, and he has this practice where he works from early in the morning till late at night. So if you ever wanted to find his whereabouts, he's working all day long until early in the morning till late at night, always driving to a different office and working.
Oh, he goes to different offices?
Yeah, he works in different offices all over South Florida, does implants for people, and he works really hard all the time. He has a girlfriend, so...
That to me was interesting. Remember, we all know that he does have a girlfriend and that his girlfriend is Catherine Magmanua. She's the one that is in jail facing charges that she was the middle woman that set up this murder. So the fact that, he's specifically asking questions about her brother. So she says, oh, obviously, I guess he wants, the detective wants to know whether he could have been the one driving and shooting and doing all the stuff. So wants to find out what kind of car does he drive, because obviously the detectives didn't tell her that, but they knew about a Prius, right? Or something that looked like a Prius. So she's saying about all the cars and all the stuff, and then she throws in the fact that he has a girlfriend. Completely odd thing to say when you're responding a question specifically about your brother. So she's saying about his, alibi would be that, he's working all day long. Why mention a girlfriend? That is completely odd. And my thinking is that, well, obviously, Wendi knows that Catherine is involved, and that's why she has Catherine in her mind, and that's why she blubbers out the fact that he has a girlfriend. That's a potential explanation. I think is very unusual that she would mention that.
He's pretty much accounted for all the
Charlie, is that his first name?
Charlie's his first name.
Not Charles?
I think Charles is his legal name. No one calls him that.
What's his last name?
Adelson.
What's his middle?
J-A-Y.
Same spelling. Adelson.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my god.
What?
What? Oh my gosh.
What?
I can't believe this is happening.
Okay. All right. Let me go get the form for the phone.
Do I need to be read my Miranda rights or something if you're gonna look at my phone?
I can read you Miranda if you want to hear
I don't
that.
know, I'm just trying to make sure I'm being
I have no
protected.
reason. I have no reason at this point to suspect you in this incident. Okay.
That's another incident. Was, I guess she's trying to find out whether she's a suspect. So, like I said, one of the reasons why she would submit herself to this interview is to also try to gather information, because obviously on behalf of the persons who were involved in ordering this killing, and I'm assuming now, as it is probable from everything we've seen, that Wendi was involved, that then she would also be trying to gather some information. She's a smart lady, and she probably thought that she could outwit the local cop from the little town of Tallahassee. He's a good cop, though. I like him. He's sharp.
I couldn't tell from the way you were talking to me in the car if I was a suspect.
Well, no, the reason was I didn't want to get into everything until we got up here.
Is he
Okay.
still in the hospital?
He's at the hospital, yes. Yes.
And he's alone.
Yes.
And nobody knows he's there.
Well, you know now, and while I'm going to get this phone taken care of, I'm going to have a victim advocate come in here, and hopefully you can supply her with his parents.
Oh my god.
I'm assuming his parents would be his next of kin.
He's a sister he's really close with.
Where is she?
They're all in Canada. He's Canadian.
Okay. All right, they live in Canada.
They all live in Canada.
Okay.
His family's all in Canada.
Okay.
They're gonna think I did it.
Now, just don't jump to conclusions on that.
Well, of course they're gonna think you did it, Wendi. The only question is why you got so upset about it a few years later and then totally shut them off from contact with the children on the basis of the fact that they believe the very same thing that you right here say that is reasonable for them to believe, which was reasonable. And this is even before we found out about Garcia and Rivera and Katie McManua. So she knows that it's pretty obvious that she's the main suspect here.
Oh my god, I can't believe this is happening.
All right, let me go get the form for the phone, okay?
Oh my god.
Sorry, you okay?
Yeah. No.
I meant to, like,
It's fine. Our last interaction wasn't nice.
oh, you're talking about personal.
Yeah, I'm just looking here. I didn't want him to take the boys this afternoon. I had wanted to have them. And I talked over with my brother and realized, just their dad wants to take them swimming. It's not worth getting upset over.
Okay, so now she's saying a couple of things that are important. Number one, it's not really that important, but she's saying that the last communication that she had with that Markel was a bad one. So they had a mini fight on text about when she could pick up the kids. Second, again, she's given more justification for why she's talking to Charlie that morning. So she says that she's talking to Charlie about it that morning, about the fact that they had this argument with Dan Markel.
He sent me that message at 9:15 this morning.
You were telling me before, when we were riding up here, that the agreement was that you're all going to have some type of phone call at 11:15 this morning. Is that correct?
Well, not exactly, just that we needed
Okay.
to have the talk at some point before we have to decide before Monday what to do about his school, where Ben's going to go to school. And he said, I'm going to be done. I thought it was 11:15, but when we listened to the message, it was 10:30.
Okay.
When he said, I'm going to be out of, he went to like a workout class at the gym. He
At
said,
Premier.
At Premier.
Mhm.
He said, I'm going to be out of it by such and such a time. You can call me then. And I called, but I think we could see what time I called him. I thought it was more of like, let's see, recent calls. I called him. Well, that's him calling in at 9:02. I called him at 11:42 and got his answering machine.
He called you at 9:02?
He called me at 9:02.
Mm-hmm.
The repair guy was there, and honestly, I leave my ringer off a lot of the time, so I didn't even hear the call come in. He left me a message. I called him at 11:42.
So she calls him at 11:42. This is about 50 minutes after exactly 50 minutes after he was murdered. And this is before she goes by the house. So she calls to see whether he would pick up. Assuming that she's involved in this murder, the phone call, she has given the cops a pretext for the phone call. Now she's calling to see whether he picks up. He doesn't pick up. So now there's a suspicion that maybe the plan and the hit did work. She wanted to make sure, again, if she was involved, and drove by the scene to confirm it.
And left him a message, just saying, okay, I want to talk about school for Ben, and I assume I'll see you at 4:30 today. When I figured he's going to take the kids swimming,
Right.
and he'll drop them at the house at 4:30.
Okay. So in other words, the whole meeting at 10:30 or 11:15
Just didn't happen.
Right. Okay. All right. Let me get this. There's a lot of information on here. Okay. It'd probably be easier if I read it to you.
Fine.
Okay. I, Wendi Adelson, and I got to change
It's
this.
Adelson.
I know I got to change that.
It's okay. It's Adelson.
Actually, it's spelled right. I said it wrong. Adelson. Do hereby authorize and give my permission to investigate Adelson, who has identified himself to me as a law enforcement officer with the necessary assistance of a digital forensic examiner to make a full and complete search of my cell phone or other digital media, along with data located on additional data sources, locations such as connected to, at, and were at the Tallahassee Police Department. That's the address. I have been advised that law enforcement are engaged in investigation concerning an alleged violation of federal or state law pertaining to a shooting incident. I do further authorize to give permission to take from my cell phone located at 230 47th Avenue.
I'm sorry, is that the police station?
That's where we're at right
Okay.
now. Yeah. Computers, cell phones, computer peripherals, digital media data, which may or may not have a connection, value, or relevance as evidence in said investigation. The above law enforcement officer has fully and fairly advised me on rights as follows. I have the right to refuse consent of the search of my property. I have the right to consult with an attorney or any other person of my choice prior to giving them consent and permission to search the above described property. Any cellular phones, computers, computer peripherals, and digital media or data, along with any data located on these items or on additional digital storage locations such items can connect to, found by said officers in the course of their search, can be used as evidence against me or others in a court of law. I fully understand and appreciate these rights and wish it be specifically understood that I am hereby giving consent permission to conduct the search of the cellular phones, computers, computer peripherals, and digital media data, along with any data located on any additional digital storage locations such items can connect to, solely because of my desire to freely and voluntarily cooperate and assist in this investigation. I have not been promised anything or been threatened or coerced in any way, nor has any inducement of any kind been held out to me in return for this consent and permission to search. Okay, can I have your phone now?
Yeah. stupid question, but
go ahead.
are you gonna give it back?
Yes.
I feel like I need to help
No,
my
you're gonna
family. What's going on?
No, you're gonna get it back. It's just I'm trying to expedite this now so I can get it back to you sooner.
I understand.
Be right back. Okay, Wendy. Let me get your.
That's the friend I was with calling. Do you want to just decline it? I guess I should talk to anyone right now.
Yeah.
Is there someone I can talk to about what to tell my kids?
Yes, well, we're gonna get to that. Give me your phone number on this phone again.
954-803-0079.
Can I get Daniel's cell phone number?
202-276-8200.
202-276-8200. Okay. Do you know his passcode to unlock his phone?
I don't.
You don't know it?
I don't have a passcode. When
Right.
I was with him, he didn't have the kind of phone that needed a passcode.
Okay.
But he's gotten an iPhone since then, so
Yeah.
he may have one. And I can't remember, like, actually, I remember his passcode to something, but it was like a word in Hebrew with the word one, so it's a word and not numbers. I could give you my children's birthdays in case you want to try that. I really have no idea what it would be.
Okay. Let's go ahead with the children's birthdays.
So Ben is 7/29, so it could be like 0729.
What year?
2009. Lincoln is 10/13/2010. They're 14 months apart.
10/13 of 10.
Yeah. I was complaining about him at the lunch.
Sorry. I'll be right back. Go ahead, sir.
What is going on?
going to take your phone, they're going to hook it up to a machine, download the information. It doesn't take a whole lot unless you got a lot of stuff on there.
I don't know what's on there. I have to use the bathroom.
Okay, no problem.
Is there?
Yep.
Is it close by?
Yeah, it's real close by. Okay, you can leave your stuff there. It's not going anywhere, and I'll put you right around the corner here. Okay.
Okay.
Do you want some water after that?
Okay.
Okay.
Can't leave.
Not yet. You got somebody here?
Seriously? Okay. I'll hold it.
Sorry.
It's okay.
We just have to eliminate everything. Okay, you know what she's saying, right?
I'm assuming I'm a suspect. I can't
No, you're not a suspect. I'm not, I don't consider you a suspect. I asked you to come up here. You came up here voluntarily. I'm not Reggie Miranda. You are not under arrest. You are the closest thing to family that I have to Daniel right now. Okay? You are.
I'm so sad for. I
So,
was thinking about something else. He told me that he comes. We have week on, week off, but on Wednesdays we do an overnight.
right.
And he told me that he might have some work up in New York and he might not be back in time for the Wednesday overnight. So there's no way that he did this because he had all kinds of plans like for next week that
Oh,
were
you're saying he would not hurt himself.
no,
Okay, all right.
it wasn't.
To me, this whole thing about the suicide sounds like a script. It's something that somebody might have thought ahead of time that it would be smart to try to show that you don't know anything about what happened to this guy, and so discuss the possibility of suicide and look like you're seriously considering whether that's what happened here. So it looks like a cover, especially because there was nothing that the cop told her that would justify her thinking that there was a suicide. That whole time they're talking about a shooting, they're talking about trying to figure out who did this. So she brings up several times this whole thing about the fact that he would not commit suicide, which absolutely doesn't make sense on the basis of the facts that she has received so far. So it looks like this is, again, something that she thought about ahead of time that would make her look like she doesn't know anything and wasn't involved.
Him.
Okay. He has no reason to hurt himself or anything along that.
No, I mean I can see him being really sad when we first got divorced.
Right.
But now he's got Amy and he loves those boys
Okay.
and things were really good for him. There's no way he did this to himself.
I believe you.
Which really scares me because it means there's someone out there that's willing to do this to him, and I'm scared for the kids.
Okay. I understand
And they're at school right now, and I want to.
There's an officer at the school.
Now, it's obviously possible that if you find out that your ex was shot, that you would think that somebody hates your ex so much that they would go after the kids as well. A little strange, but possible. I mean, I guess, especially since this happened in the house where the kids were staying at, there should be some concern for the kids. I'm basically surprised. I mean, if it was me, I would say, screw you. I'm not arrested. I'm going to get my kids immediately. We can talk in my house or something. But anyway, that's just me. She's a lawyer. She could have said that. She knew that she wasn't under arrest. Maybe, like I said, she wanted to be here and learn information first and foremost instead of being concerned for the kids, because obviously if we again assume that she was involved, she would know that the kids were not in danger, that this was all done to help her.
Okay.
The kids are fine.
Okay.
Okay, there's no. The
I don't
kids
know
are.
how I'm gonna tell them.
Well, we're going to help you with that. Okay. But here's what I have to do right now, and I'm just trying to.
And by the way, also the whole thing about being afraid for the kids and stuff could also be a way to try to dig for information about what they know about the suspect or suspects, right? So trying to get information to see whether she should be scared for the kids because they knew somebody saw who it was or anything like that. So assuming again that she was involved.
I want to get this down, Pat. I know you don't have your phone to refer to,
Okay.
but that's okay.
You'll have all that information.
Right, because I'll check that against what you tell me.
Okay.
Your last phone conversation. Okay, your last personal contact, in other words, in person with Daniel, was when?
He goes by Danny.
Danny, okay.
No one calls him Daniel.
Yes. I don't know him, so I'm
I'm
sorry.
just telling you
Danny.
so that it just feels really impersonal. My last face-to-face contact with him. Wow. We do a lot of like leave-off pickup at the school, right? Where one of us will take the kids to school, the other one picks them up. When was the last time I saw him? I definitely saw him when I picked the kids up. I feel like there's something since then, but that would have been.
No, I'm on a wait. I'm not familiar with the.
Okay, I'll get Annie because she wanted it before. Yeah.
And that was that morning I drove down, so that was June 30th.
Okay.
Whatever that Monday morning was that we drove down to Miami. I saw him, I met Amy. Then we did a lot of Skype, like we'd Skype every day while I was gone. But that's not in person. I came back with my parents. We drove back all together. And then that Friday, which would have been last Friday, a week from today. So if today's the 18th, it was Friday the 11th. It's my other brother's birthday. And
By the way, her parents are very, very protective of her, and it looks like from her own admissions later in this interview that pretty much every single time that she wants to drive south, especially with the kids, that they drive and they don't let her drive. That's how protective they are. And she's in her 30s.
I would have seen him, but I had been with the kids for like 12 days straight, and I was getting really sad at the idea of drop-off, of Danny coming to pick him up. And so my folks said, you know what, why don't you just... So at about 4:45, I just went over a friend's house. I didn't see him that day. And then he had the kids, and I got some sort of laryngitis, and I was alone all weekend, so that was Saturday, Sunday. And then this week, I missed the kids, so I visited them at school on Monday and Tuesday.
They were staying with Danny?
They were with Danny that whole time, but Danny and I had started on days when we really missed the kids. We'd go have like lunch with them or breakfast with them, so I went and had lunch with them or read them a story. I saw them Monday, I saw them Tuesday. Wednesday was my overnight, and so that was Wednesday, and then he had them Thursday was yesterday.
Yeah.
So that was the last time I had face-to-face contact with him.
Was?
June 30th.
June 30th, okay. And then yesterday, y'all were conversing on text about this phone call, or about this discussion for Ben.
On email, I think,
Okay.
about, we'd both spoken with an administrator at the school, and so yesterday morning I emailed him and said, I'd really love for him to go to this school. I think we should accept it. Here's why. And then I asked him a second question about Ben's birthday coming up, because I didn't have Ben on his birthday, and he wanted this Lego thing, and I wanted to make sure that no one else got it for him. So I asked him if he was going to do a party for Ben, so I knew ahead of time whether people would be bringing presents or whatever, and so I knew whether he would have gotten it from someone else or whether I should buy it for him. And he wrote back and said, when your voice feels better, let's talk, because my throat was really hurting. He said, let's talk, we need to work this out for Monday. And I sent him an email, you'll see it sometime this
What she could be doing here is, again, giving all this, she's like talking so much, she's just giving all these details to the cops just to show how everything was business as normal, how there were still ongoing discussions and, I guess, painful conversations with her ex about school, disputes about decisions about which school they would go to. All of these things are easy things that can be done that don't cost any money, like spending attorney's fees on litigation. They can be done to make it look like everything is business as normal, and there's no expectation on Wendy's part that Dan Markel would be dead the next day.
morning while I was home working on my paper that said, okay, I'm ready to talk whenever you are. I don't know what time I sent it, but if I called him at 11:40, it was either before I called him, because I thought normally he would have called.
Okay.
She, for about 18 days before the murder, avoided direct contact with Dan Markel. She obviously didn't have many chances to meet with him. There was an exchange of the kids in which she did not meet him, and instead her parents stayed and did the exchange. And I think, again, it's not direct evidence that she's guilty. It's just evidence that could point to the fact that she was involved, that she knew, and that she obviously knew that she was going to kill a man that she previously loved, in a sense, or at least somehow felt enough for him to have kids with him. So she wanted to avoid contact with him because she knew what was going to happen to him. That's a possibility.
Like when he said I'm done with the class at 10:30 and I had said, okay, let's talk, and then sent him a call or an email, like, I thought it was weird I hadn't heard from him.
And so, curiously, another coincidence is that exactly on the day of the murder, the day before, she is contacting him about setting up this meeting to finally talk, because she had been having laryngitis for a few days before, she says, where she couldn't talk, her voice was that bad. And so that actually gives her a good excuse to know his whereabouts, for him to report to her what he's doing that morning so that they can figure out when exactly they're going to talk. And of course, she was confident that the murder was going to go forward. So this whole thing about the plan that she supposedly had to meet him that day also detracts from the idea, maybe subconscious idea that would be spurring in the detective's head, that she was trying to avoid him.
But I just thought, like, oh, maybe he's busy with something.
And it also makes it look, right, that she is thinking about a future in which then Markel exists, because they're going to have a discussion about the kids and about where the kids are going to go to school. So that, again, if she is involved, that's smart. That's part of some planning that would go on a premeditated murder to make it look like things are normal. You're not expecting your husband to be murdered.
Showering.
But he told you at some point that he was going to premiere this morning.
Yeah, no, that phone
When-
message says, I'm going to premiere, I'll be out 10:15, 10:30. And so you
When
can
did-
call me after that.
When did you receive that phone message?
Again, we know now a lot more than what the investigator Isom, who did a pretty good job, knew back then. So from what we know now is that there was a team from South Florida that came here, did the shooting, and ran away and tried to get away as fast as they could. Hopefully didn't get noticed, and so on and so forth. So all of this thing about Wendi leaving open the idea that possibly she could have been involved directly, right? That she could have been the one who did the shooting, which of course would be disproven once they tested her hands and all this stuff. But it helps derail the investigation, helps investigators waste time on her when it could be, spent on someone else. Even though we obviously know that it's not a waste of time. This is wonderful that they have this interrogation, but maybe that was the plan, right? To divert, to make them think for a second that maybe it was her directly.
Maybe after the repair guy left, so maybe
This
at
morning?
this morning, like
Okay.
at 11ish or something.
All right. So you're at your house with the repairman. He leaves. You go back to working on your papers.
And about the repairman, she says that he's there for about 2 hours. In the police report that I read, it says that he's there for about an hour. But still, an hour to check on a TV and tell her that it's not going to work, that it's not fixable, that's strange. So it looks like she was trying to force a conversation with him and to bring up this whole thing, the joke about the fact that TV was the same one that Charlie used to joke with her about, the fact that he gave it to her instead of hiring a hitman because it was cheaper to get her the TV. And that could also have been used as a cover for, maybe it was a mistake when she told Lacasse that, Charlie had been thinking about hiring a hitman. A few days earlier, she said that to him. So maybe she wanted to repeat it to somebody else, so that if Lacasse mentions it to somebody, to the cops, then she would say, oh, it was just a joke. I don't know what he's talking about. He's just a jilted guy, and now he's just making up stuff. I tell this, that my brother makes this joke all the time to everybody.
And then you leave your house around noon, drive down, Trescott's blocked, you turn around, you go back around on Benton, and then you go
There's
to
a tree.
Pardon?
I thought it was like a tree that fell down or something.
With respect to the visit to the scene, I do believe that there is a potential play, right? Part of the whole gamesmanship that's being played is that visit. Again, possibly to point, to make them think initially that she was directly involved, that she was the shooter, which would have been obviously a ridiculous trail to follow. But also, again, for herself to confirm that this was done and to help her prepare for the next steps of the game. So I think it was important for her to drive by and confirm that for herself.
Right. So,
I didn't even think, like, that's the house. I saw a few houses blocked off, and I'm sorry, I wasted
sorry.
your time.
No, you're not wasting my time. I think I asked you before, you don't have a number for Amy. You do not have a contact number for her?
Don't.
But you know she's a professor at NYU.
Yeah.
You know that her and Danny have been seeing each other, and that she stayed here from the end of June to the 1st of July. Just
At least 2
28
days, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and she met the children,
Yeah, she met a few friends in town, too.
and you don't know anything about her ex,
No. I know she was married.
right? And she has children
She has a son
in New York.
in New York.
Okay.
She's a son. I think he's 14.
Okay.
Um,
Do you know how old Amy is?
she's 50.
She's 50?
Yeah. She doesn't look 50. She's very beautiful. But she is, not that you can't be beautiful at 50, but she looks really young. She's very pretty and accomplished. And
You know her date of birth?
I only know that she is 50. I don't, because I was looking her up one time, feeling.
Oh, okay. Okay, so she's 50. She goes by Amy Adler.
Her middle initial is M.
M. Okay.
So that, like, if you looked her, oh my god, if you looked her up on the law school website, you'd find her that way.
Okay.
Her brother's famous, he's like a famous fashion designer, so I think they spend a lot of weekends, like, in the Hamptons, and she lives in the city and lives, like, good life.
Okay. You gave me a name of Matt Price, who's in D.C.
That's his best friend.
Is that an attorney?
He's an attorney, yeah. I'm sorry you have to deal with so many lawyers.
That's okay. I'm used to it. I got to deal with the state attorney's office, public defender's office, private attorneys.
The only time I've ever been in this, I represent victims of crime. I represent immigrant victims of crime, so it's the only time I've ever been in this building is
okay.
advocating for my clients.
And the other friend?
The other friend is Josh Berman, also attorney. He's in New York City.
A city attorney for New York?
No, he's private. They're both private.
Okay.
And they were like the historic best friends
Okay.
from college and law school.
And then, of course, Alex is up in Cairo.
I'm assuming they're close. I know that he sleeps over at their house a lot with the kids.
Okay.
I don't know if it's because the kids really love to play together or because they're close, but they spend a lot of time together. I'm sure they're close.
All right. Okay.
Danny is pretty religious, so like he'd be connected with like rabbis and stuff in town too.
Okay. All right. Which synagogue does he go to?
He goes to 2. The one he's most strongly affiliated with is Shomrei Torah. And by the way, if you get a nod that I can't use the bathroom, I could really use
Okay.
it. So,
I'm going to make that
I'm
happen
not
right
going
now.
to die, but if I could just, that'd be great.
Give it back to you.
Danny.
She's got to do.
You
She's
come
got to
with
swab
me?
your hands.
Oh,
First, I'm gonna have to do your hands.
okay. Hi. What does GSR stand for?
Gunshot residue.
Residue?
Residue.
Okay. This is a really hard job you guys have.
Can be. All right, right hand. Okay, and are you right or left-handed?
I work with both,
Okay.
but right-handed.
Okay, left hand. Since noon today, have you washed your hands at all?
I wish I could tell you I had, but I haven't.
Okay.
I'm filthy.
That could also be part of the play, correct? I mean, she's saying that she hasn't washed her hands in hours, and therefore the result of these tests to see whether there's gunpowder on her hands would serve to eventually prove that she is innocent, that she was not directly involved. Well, of course, she could be wearing gloves. But I'm saying it supports the fact that she was not directly involved. But it's not something that they would know immediately, right? So maybe the purpose is to derail the investigation initially, and eventually she obviously has to be cleared.
They have a picture, correct?
Yeah.
Take a picture. I'm just gonna take a picture.
With my hands?
No,
No,
you just want to
You
stand up, and then you can go to the bathroom.
Okay.
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 All right, ready?
Do you need to escort me?
I'm just going to walk you around the corner. It's not really. It's just showing you where it is. What time do your kids get out of school?
So, I think the school ends at like 5,
Okay.
but I usually pick them up early. Danny probably told him he was going to take them to Truesdale today, so they'll be expecting earlier. But at 5, it would be times.
That's what time they close?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they'll stay open.
Okay. Okay.
They were supposed to be with me this week, so normal for them, other than this swim bit, would have been to spend the weekend with me and
Where did they sleep last night?
with Danny.
With Danny.
Yeah.
Okay. So Danny took them.
Sorry,
Go ahead.
I got a call. So he has an alarm system in the house, and I
Right.
must still be on the call list for people if there's a break-in. I got a call yesterday. I guess it'll be on the phone when it happened. I got a call from like the company with the alarm company that said like the alarm's been triggered, it's gone off. There's another family in town that we were really close with. The woman's name is Lynn, and she's on the list too, so she got a call. I know this because I saw her yesterday evening. I went to a friend's art gallery thing, and she happened to be there, so it's a small town. And she said, oh, I guess I got a call from Trescott. And
Okay.
I said, oh, I got the same call. I said, but I just figured it was fine. So they called yesterday, and I don't remember what time it was. Maybe the morning, maybe the evening, but it happens sometimes, every
Right.
once in a while with weather or whatever, the alarm gets triggered, so I didn't think anything of it. But I
Right.
wonder if there was like an attempted break-in yesterday.
I don't know. I'll have to check into that. Do you know what the alarm company is?
It's on my phone, right? The message
Okay.
that they left.
Sure.
I probably deleted it, but then I didn't delete my deleted messages. So if you look at deleted, you could find it.
Okay.
If not, I could probably figure it out. And Lynn could tell you
Okay.
if you had to ask her.
That was yesterday.
It was yesterday.
But no calls today.
Mhm.
Where did the children sleep the night before? Have they been staying with Danny right along?
Yeah, except week on, week off, but with Wednesday overnights. So Wednesday night they were with me.
When you say Wednesday overnight, Wednesday.
It means like if it's a mommy week, then
Right.
they're with you all week. Except Wednesday night they'd go to Danny.
Okay.
If it's a Danny week,
Right.
so they're with him all week. Except Wednesday night they came to me.
All right, and then so Wednesday
And
night
that's
they.
the last time. I didn't tell you this, but I thought about it in the bathroom. I didn't have an interaction with him, but that's the last time I saw him was Wednesday. I picked up the kids and I was going to take them to Whole Foods.
Okay.
And I saw Danny working on his computer in the window of the Whole Foods, and I took him to BurgerFi instead
Oh.
because he and I were, divorced,
Right.
and interactions with him were hard. And it was my one day with the kids, and I thought, well, if we go inside, it's going to be like all of us together, and I wanted time by myself
That's
with
fine.
them. So I took them, but that's the last time I saw him.
So if she's involved, I don't know that she obviously would want to run into him on purpose. I mean, obviously, she wouldn't do that, right? So she has to think of the possibility that somebody saw her approaching the store, maybe even at Markel, and maybe he mentioned that to somebody, and turned around and left with the kids, right? So he has a perfect explanation about why she turned around with the kids, even though, well, whatever. It could make sense. I mean, it could be legitimate. I'm not going to make too much of a deal about that right now. But it's more avoiding interactions with Dan Markel, consistent with somebody who feels guilty about what she's about to do, or she knows that it's about to happen.
So I saw him sitting there Wednesday afternoon working.
He was inside Whole
He was
Foods.
inside Whole Foods with
Okay.
his computer,
Okay.
writing.
And the kids came out.
The kids didn't see him.
Okay.
We were just about to enter. I saw him. I thought, oh, my one day with the kids,
Okay.
and so I went and got burgers instead.
To the BurgerFi. Okay. All right. So then Thursday,
I got a call.
you got called about the alarm. Had you had any contact with the kids during that time?
On Thursday, I had them Wednesday night. I brought them to school on Thursday, and then, no, not after I dropped them off.
Okay.
And there's a record at school of when you log in, so
Right.
I probably dropped them off a little before 9, but they could tell you what
Okay.
time.
All right. And then, so then he kept them last night, Thursday night, and then he would have driven them to school. What time does he normally drop them off at school?
It varies. Sometimes he has breakfast with him. I got the call from him. It was 9:04, I think.
Right.
So he must have already just dropped them off and was probably driving from school to the gym, and that's why he was saying, "Going to this class. I'll touch base with you after."
Okay. All right. And then no contact after that.
We had some texting contact. That's when I was saying that my last contact wasn't very nice. I was saying, well, I wanted to pick them up at 3, and he was saying, well, you are only allowed them after 4:30, and I was like, well, what about last week? I picked them up at 5, and he said I was just being nice, and I said, I guess nice was fun while it lasted.
Okay.
And that's the last thing I said to him.
Okay. All right. His parents and his family, do you have contacts for them in your phone?
I have contacts for at least one of them.
Okay.
I think I'd been recently deleting them just because they don't call me. But at least one of them, I can tell you his, I don't know whether it's his dad's name. His parents are actually recently divorced.
Okay. We'll get the phone back. You can supply those numbers.
Okay.
All right. And then we'll attempt to contact them.
Oh my god.
Find out where they're at least in Canada.
It's just the worst thing you could have happen.
Now I gotta ask you something. Okay?
Yeah.
Do you own a gun?
No.
Have you ever owned a gun? Have you ever fired a gun?
I think I went skeet shooting about 12 years ago.
Okay. Nothing since then? Does Danny own a gun?
Not that I know of, but maybe since I left. He didn't own a gun when I was with him.
Never had a gun around, or
No.
did he ever talk about buying a gun or anything?
He would talk about it, but he's a criminal law professor.
Right.
So sometimes he would talk about things just
Okay.
to have a discussion about,
Okay.
should we have a gun in the home? Is it dangerous?
Right.
As far as I knew, there was no gun in the house.
Okay. You don't know anybody that he owed money to? You don't know anyone?
Just me.
I know, besides you. But that was under court order, I'm assuming.
And we have lawyers, and he very much respects, as do I, the legal system, you know,
Right.
so it was working its way through.
Okay.
But anyone he owes money to, I mean, he doesn't gamble, he doesn't drink, like he doesn't have any vices, he doesn't do anything weird. I can't imagine. I mean, I think he annoys people with his like legal academia, but I think like in the ivory tower here, not like I don't think he owed money to anyone. I can't imagine.
Okay. All right. I mean, unless you have something I can't think of, I'm looking for some reason that someone would want to hurt him.
Not just hurt him.
Right.
I mean,
I know, but the intention.
I could see one of my friends wanting to shake him.
Right.
But like, God.
Right.
No. I don't know who would do this. And I'm very scared because I don't understand why this would happen. He and I got along fine for the sake of the kids. You heard the message he was like, well, maybe we'll just take a walk around school. And
Right.
I mean, I found him hard to be around, but so did a lot of people. They all knew he meant well. He was a decent, good human being. He wouldn't hurt anybody. He would never do this to anybody. I don't know who would want to hurt him like this. I really don't.
All right.
A couple of things about that. Again, her non-verbals are hard to read. I mean, she semi-laughing, semi-crying, I don't know. I just don't want to go there. But she does make eye contact. She's going forward. You know, she's not backing out from investigator Isom. To me, throughout this whole thing, she seems to be very much in control, and she's selling the message that she wants to sell. That's how I see the nonverbal communications. What she's saying, again, I'm looking at this as from the possibility, which is very real now, because we obviously back then did not know of the connection of Katie McManua's involvement, the involvement of the Adelsons in ordering this, which seems like an impossible that it wouldn't be them. So knowing that, we judge what's going on here. She says that she's scared, yet she's sitting in the police station. She has a friend go over to get her kids. She talks about fear, but she's not really acting like it. Like I said, if there was a real fear somehow, there really was, like she's saying, she probably wouldn't be acting this way, especially for somebody very smart, a lawyer, experienced.
I need to ask you, was your divorce, you said before, had nothing to do with infidelity, no extramarital affairs or anything like that.
Neither one of us.
It was just simply the fact that you all just didn't get along anymore, or was it just the fact that he was belligerent to you?
He never hurt me physically, but he was emotionally abusive.
Okay.
And I didn't tell most people that, so all most people know is it just didn't work out, and it's just the kids are young, and this is just better this way. So other than my family, who saw the way he treated me, most people were, well, I think his family was very surprised. He told everyone around the community that I was mentally ill, because only a crazy person would leave him, and so there's a lot. But, you know, who would, so that's it. The circumstances, plain and simple, where it just wasn't a really healthy marriage, and I thought it'd be better for the boys if they didn't grow up thinking that's the way you treat women. But he didn't hit me, he didn't hit them, he didn't have a drug problem, he didn't gamble, he didn't cheat on me, I didn't cheat on him. There's no other, I keep thinking the only unknown I can think of is
She's reducing the eye contact a little bit in all of this part. She's also minimizing the conflict between her and that Markel by saying that all those awful things that sometimes leave crazy exes to commit murder didn't happen in their marriage.
Amy's ex-husband, is he still in the picture? Is he upset?
Right.
Danny, I defriended him from Facebook because I found it too upsetting to see intermittent pictures of the kids. But I wonder, he's very, very public on Facebook about where he is, when he's traveling, where he's going, and so I wonder if he's got pictures up of him and Amy, and if there's a jealous ex-husband in the...
You know where this ex-husband would be?
He'd be in New York too.
In a sense, Isom asked her for information about who might want to hurt him. So she probably expected that question and is ready with multiple potentials.
Is he also an attorney?
I don't even know his name.
Okay.
I just know when Amy came down here, they went over a mutual friend of ours. It's a guy that works at the law school. This guy.
So remember, if she's involved, her goal here, this is hours after the murder, her goal is to send the police, investigators into several rabbit trails and misdirect them in different directions and let the trail of the actual killers go cold. That would be the goal.
Jay and his wife Dory is a good friend of mine, and they have kids, my kid's age. And I said to her, I remember saying, so what's she like, like she met her before I did, and she said, she's really nice, and she's, very sweet, and she's recently divorced too, so she knows how awkward all of this is to meet the new person.
Okay.
I don't know, and I'm scared.
Okay. Have you had anything happen at your house?
No.
Nothing?
Mm-mm.
And the information for Best Buy for the service tech that was there, that's at your house?
I'd be happy. I mean, if someone wants to
Yeah, we'll
come back
get
with
that.
me.
We'll get that. And that was basically from when he came out there to serve, well, I guess to replace the
He
TV.
came out to fix it and then told me that what was wrong with it wasn't fixable.
Right.
And so I called Charlie to find out, should I buy a new one or should I fix
Right.
this one? And he was like, just buy a new one. And
And once he left, do you remember what time the serviceman left?
probably around 10.
Again, she's setting up a perfect excuse for her communication with Charlie on the morning that this happened. And again, it all, by coincidence, regards that nice TV that he gave her as a gift instead of hiring a hitman.
Till before 10. And then I left by 12.
But between that time, between 10 and 12, you were by yourself working on your papers and stuff.
Yeah.
Were you doing it on papers or computer?
It was all on computer.
Okay.
And that's what I was thinking. I was like,
And again, the fact that she was at home alone from 10 to 12, but using electronic devices. So for her, again, if she's involved, she will want to leave open the option for the cops to investigate and determine whether she was the actual shooter, again, for some misdirection, especially since she would be the number one suspect, but at the same time have enough proof and evidence that she wasn't the one. So not washing the hands, and then there wouldn't be any gunpowder residue on her hands. The phone calls, the emails that she sent from her computer, all of those things would eventually probably serve to corroborate the story that she wasn't the shooter. But it would waste the time from law enforcement.
I sent some edits in to someone at the law library during that time.
Okay.
I called a few friends. I sent some texts. I mean, all of that'll be
On the phone?
on the phone.
Or did you call from your house phone?
I don't have a house phone.
Okay, you use all your communications is over your cell phone?
Yeah.
Do you have more than one cell phone?
No.
All right. I'm going to introduce you to a victim advocate. She's going to be very helpful. And she's going to, once the phone comes back, she'll get the numbers for his folks. And you're saying everybody's in Canada. Is that correct? On his side of the family?
His family's in Canada.
Okay, Alberta,
No,
Quebec?
his mom and dad, his immediate family is in Toronto.
Okay,
His aunts and uncles and cousins are all in Montreal. Everyone's English speaking.
okay.
Any family family in the States. They're all in Canada.
And that's where he's from originally?
He's from there. He came here for college and never left. So he's 41 and he's been here since he was 18.
Did he go to FSU for law school?
No,
Okay. Where did he go to law school?
Harvard.
Harvard, okay. And then he got a position as a professor.
We moved up here for his job.
So you were in New York too?
No. I've never lived in New York.
Oh.
I was actually at University of Miami going to law school. We met, we got engaged, and then I was going to do my last year of law school up here. So in 2005, we moved here, he was a professor and I was a student for one more year. And then we moved back to Miami for a year, and then we moved here for a year. The reason why I say his parents are going to say I did it is because after we got divorced, I wanted to move to South Florida, and I filed a petition to relocate in the court, and the court said no. So
Because of the kids.
So you can always leave, you just can't leave with your kids. So we're in Tallahassee because of Danny's job.
Again, so if she's directly involved in this, it's again very smart for her to be upfront on all the issues that she could be confronted with by the cops. She basically takes away the weapons that they use in interrogations to try to confront somebody with information, with new evidence and those kind of things. So if she came in here being all silly, oh, we're best buddies, we're friends, I cannot believe somebody shot him, this is ridiculous, and she never mentions the divorce battles, the custody issues, the fact that she wanted to move and Markel prevented her from doing so early on. Then later the cop comes with all this information and confronts her about her, then maybe we would see a surprise reaction. But she's not a dumb person. She's very smart, and if she was involved, she's acting like she would do, like a normal, smart, very smart person would do in these circumstances, and basically take away all those tools that investigators can use in the interrogation. So she's meeting up front, she's getting the issues out front, just like we would do in a jury trial. If there is any negative facts that we have to deal with that may hurt our case, we try to use them to bring them to the attention of the jury ourselves. We don't let the other side bring them to the juror's attention. We don't want to hide from the evidence. We want to present all of it and then argue why our client is guilty or not guilty, or whatever is the situation that we're trying to argue. Our client, we always would argue that our client is not guilty, but in a civil case, for example, we may argue that our client deserves compensation, it was a victim, so on and so forth. So she's doing something very similar here, like any smart lawyer would do in a trial, of bringing out the issues up front, issues that could make her look guilty if she didn't bring them herself, and instead the cops brought them up. As this thing is taking hours, right? So in the meantime, some other investigators are looking at the divorce file, looking at different places and saying, oh, look, here, you can use this against her. He steps out of the room often, probably to confer with his colleagues who are doing some of the background work while she's sitting here.
So
he taught at UM before he came up here?
He didn't. He had that year at FSU, and then UM said they wanted to hire him, so I worked there for a year. He worked there for half a year. We commuted back and forth to FSU, and then UM didn't hire him, and so we moved back to FSU, and I've been here since the 07 school year.
All right. I'm going to go get the victim advocate, all right, and introduce you to her. And as soon as we get your phone back, I'll probably want you to show me some of those text messages. I know it's going to be on the record,
Okay.
but I may have to.
One of the interesting things that, if you're observing and watching this, you can do is observe her demeanor, her behavior when she's telling something that is completely truthful and not part of the strategy, right? So she's discussing the history of the relationship and how they met and, when they went to FSU, when they moved up to Tallahassee, all those things. That really is not something that she's trying to sell, right? This is the actual truth. So look at that and then maybe compare some other moments where you feel that she may be lying and see whether her nonverbal communications are much different at that time.
May want to ask you that, and then we'll try to get everything expedited so you can be there when your kids get picked up from school.
Right, because the alternative would be like a police officer.
Yeah, we don't want to do
Scary.
that. I want you to come pick them up.
I find it interesting here that she's given the option to expedite stuff and go meet the kids and pick them up at school. But she doesn't want that. She wants somebody else to get the kids. I'm wondering, obviously it could be that she's just worried about the confrontation with the kids and explaining to them what happened. In a sense, it could be something that a normal person that was not involved might want to postpone. But it may also be her wanting to control that encounter and to ensure that it's not around cops and all those things. So I'll think about that one.
Instead of a police officer, if it can't be me, I'd rather it be like a family friend or something.
Well, we could do that too.
Okay,
if
I'm
you'd
just
rather.
saying, like, I
Yeah.
do not want. I think they'll get really scared. If
No. All the officer's done is checked on your children and
Okay.
made sure they're at school. We just had to find out where they were and where you were. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'll be right
Okay.
back.
Okay. I can put my IDs away.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Wendy, this is Sarah Latour.
Hi,
She's
Sarah.
Rick Mapkett.
How are you?
Here, I'll come and sit over here on this side of you if you don't mind. So I have to meet you under these circumstances.
I'm usually a lot more fun.
Okay. I've been trying to kind of find some next of kin information on his parents.
Do you want their names?
Yes, that would be helpful.
His dad is Phil Markel.
And they're in Canada. Correct?
They're in Canada. They're in Toronto.
Toronto.
Uh-huh.
Must have done.
Okay. His mom's name is Ruth Markel.
Mm-hmm. Are they married still?
They just got divorced. They're 70. They just got divorced after like 30-something years of marriage.
Okay. And when you say they're 70, are they in good health 70?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, they're young. They're
Okay.
like
70, but not 70.
my dad just turned 70, and they're young, 70.
Okay. So they wouldn't live together?
I don't think they're living together.
Okay.
Truthfully, Danny and I got divorced in the last 2 years, and they separated in the last 2 years, so
Okay.
I'm fuzzy on the
And
details.
that's okay. And you were going through your thing, and they were probably going through theirs at the same time.
Yeah. I have that skirt.
Do you?
It's pretty.
I'm sure that I got my hat. A lot of people do.
He has a sister that he's really close with.
Is she in Canada too? And what's her name?
Her name's Shelly Markel.
Is Shelley short for something?
It's not.
Okay. Does she have an EY in there, or is it
No,
just?
it's Shelly. I'm sure you do this all the time as your job, but like I cannot believe this is happening.
It's not a normal situation to be in, and it's never easy or anything like that. So all your emotions and stuff you're feeling are okay right now. Okay.
I'm so worried about my kids. I don't know how I'm gonna tell them what happened.
And you know what?
They're so little.
And you know it is difficult sometimes for little kids because their perception of reality is
They love their dad.
Of course they do.
I'm sorry.
I wonder if those are tears of regret, of realization of what she did, or just completely fake. But yeah, whatever was done is totally heartless to the kids. They love their dad, and he was taken away from them.
You can ask me questions.
No, you're fine. Talk to me about what you want to talk to me about.
It's fine. I'll tell you what you
No, you're good though. Like, I want to be here for you too. Like, I can say very strong.
I just like I can't believe this is happening. I don't understand, and I'm very scared because if this can happen, like, what if someone's gonna come after the kids? Like, who did this, and why would they do this?
And from what they're missing, they haven't had any indications of that.
Do you think someone can watch the house where I'm gonna be with the kids tonight to make sure that nobody comes after us?
We'll discuss.
If I were in her position and I were innocent, would I be worried about my kids and myself? Maybe so. But knowing what we know now, this looks completely fake. And we know that she moved to South Florida to be with the people who ordered this within a couple of days. And even after, all the information came out pointing to who did this. Let's assume that it wasn't her. Let's assume that she wasn't involved. She's still hanging around with them. Again, more misdirection.
And that type of stuff. I'm going to make sure that they know all your concerns and fears. Okay?
I just
take stuff one step at a time right now. I know it's hard.
I don't know how I'm gonna tell them.
You know, I can tell you this. I think it's going to be best coming from you. You're their mother. You seem very educated and put together. And it sounds like you've gone through a lot the past 2 years.
And but the kids have been doing so well with everything. They're really happy, well-adjusted kids. They have so many people in their life that
you all are
love
doing
them.
the right thing.
I guess she's trying to win the heart of Miss Latour, putting on an act to get into her heart and convince her that, hey, I'm a victim. Look at me. Here I am, hyperventilating, crying, thinking about my poor kids, about how they're gonna do without a dad. I'm really a victim. Thanks so much for helping.
And I get why I would be a suspect, but the idea that we were divorced, but the idea that I would ever do anything is I understand why they need to check, but I don't know who would though. I don't know who would do this. I can see why they would think it would be me.
Well, and I don't think, and did Investigator Ison talk to you at all about what your role is in this?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out.
And a lot of times they do stuff just to kind of cancel you out too.
It's fine. I understand.
Okay.
I understand. I just can't believe this is happening. So I do best with being helpful. So why don't you tell me what I can do to help you?
Okay. Well, give me the parents' names. I know you probably, if you have any of their phone numbers, I know you don't right now, probably from memory either.
It's in my phone.
Right.
I don't remember them.
So we'll wait for.
They lived in Toronto, and I didn't have a really close relationship with them before the divorce.
Okay.
And after the divorce, it's been, I've sent his sister happy birthday messages, but it's not close. And so I don't.
Right, you didn't have a reason to really have communication with them, and that's okay.
Okay, so other than their names.
Right, that's probably all you really.
No, I'm asking what can I do?
Let's see. You can, worry about you and your boys. Start thinking who would be someone that you want here for you that's here in Tallahassee now.
What do you mean here for me? For what?
For support for you. Because you're going to have to go.
I'd really like my family to come.
Okay.
They're not here, but
where are they located?
I'm just so upset right now that I'm worried about parenting effectively. And so if my parents were here, they could help me. They're really close with the kids, so they could help me. I feel like you and I look a little bit of do you see this as you're looking at my face?
You have very pretty blue eyes. They're much bluer than mine.
I know some of you were laughing at that comment, but actually it's not completely far from the truth. She does have some similarities in her face to Wendi Adelson. As far as the rest of what she just said, it is pretty obvious, of course, that her parents are very, very close to the kids. They're very, very close to Wendi. They are very, very much super overprotective. And she wants them with her, which is obviously expected, whether or not she was involved.
But I feel anyway, it's
in the
looking
hair
at my sister, similar hair. I must look awesome right now, but when I'm not in crisis. I'd really like my parents to be here and help me
Okay.
with the kids.
And so for my information, what are your parents' names?
I feel like I should be the one to tell them.
No, I don't want. I'm not going to go tell them. I'm just
Yeah.
more of, as
Who's
you know, this
with you?
time goes on, right? When you're referring to people, I want to know. Who you're
Sure.
talking
My parents' names are Donna and Harvey Adelson.
And did you say they were in Florida?
They are. They're splitting. They're sort of in the process of retiring.
Okay.
I mean, semi.
Mhm.
So they work together. They're super happy and in love. 40 plus years in. So they like live in Coral Springs for part of the week and then in Miami for part of the week. So today is Friday and they're in Miami.
Okay, so then is Miami like their weekend home then for them?
My brother Charlie got this place for them to sort of have them try living in Miami. So
Okay.
sometimes on the weekends they all hang out together. So they'll be there.
And like I said, I'm not going to notify your parents or do anything like that. I was just, like I said, getting that more of just so.
For future, yeah.
And do you have anyone in Tallahassee that you consider your go-to person here?
I have a lot of, I'm not saying this to be bragging, I have like a number of people that
You
I
have a
feel
good network.
I do. The person who feels most like family is my friend, Lynn.
Lynn? Okay.
She's just a bit older than me, and I'm very close with her family. She has 4 kids, and I'm kind of like an aunt to the twin girls. I'd really love for Lynn to be around.
Okay. What's Lynn's last name?
Grossman.
S-S-M-A-N?
Yeah,
Okay, she's here locally.
she is. Yeah, she lives right down, really close to me.
What are your 2 boys' names? I know.
My older son is turning 5 on the 29th. His name's Benjamin.
I just, it's about 10 past 4, so I know we're gonna need to start making arrangements as far as if you want somebody to pick your kids up and take them home, that type of thing. So Sarah can, if you wanna figure that out, just because I think he said that they had to be picked up by about 5 or so.
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you.
So something to
Okay,
just think about
okay,
what we
thank
want
you.
to get on.
What should we do about that?
What do you think would be, do you have any, because you probably have, they're younger, right? So probably
They're
cars,
3.5 and 5.
so they probably start
They're in
on
car
boosters.
seats.
Okay.
They're in car seats. I am in shock right now, so I could probably be functional to like drive
can
a
help.
car.
Well, I can help with kind of that type of stuff. Do you have a friend do you want?
I mean, I would, if Lynn is here, I don't know if she's in town. It's Friday.
Yes.
I don't know if she's in town this weekend. If she is, I would love for her to be with
Lynn would be
me.
your person? Okay.
Yeah,
And then if Lynn's not, do you have a kind of backup person you would think?
I do. I have a lot of friends who have kids,
Mhm.
so they have their own responsibilities. My friend Jane, who actually I think used to be a victim advocate.
Okay.
Jane would be a really good choice. Jane McPherson.
Okay. You probably, and I might be able to get these numbers, but you
Because she
think,
doesn't have kids, it's all on my phone.
and it's okay. And I know I don't have anything memorized either. So.
Other close friends that I would have be with me right now. I have this really close friend whose husband died last year, who has a kid, and we spend a lot of time together, so she'd understand, but I don't want to do that to her.
Okay.
Well,
and I think maybe between Lynn and Jane,
hopefully
maybe
one
we
of
can
them.
get- Okay.
Oh, Jane might be traveling. It's just summer, people are traveling all the
Okay.
time.
I understand.
Who else might be here?
What do you think Lynn and Jane would be kind of a good start?
Yeah.
What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go check and see how long on your phone. So that way we can kind of start working on those things.
Okay.
Some things for you to think about when you meet your boys. And I'm sorry, it's really hard.
I just don't know how I'm going to tell them that.
Well, you know your boys better than everyone else does, right?
Right now, they were expecting I don't know if Danny told them or not. The plan was he was going to take them swimming this afternoon, which is sort of out of the ordinary.
Okay.
Normally, I would just pick him up, but I think he's leaving town for the weekend. I just think he wanted extra time with the kids. So he was going to take them to Truesdale and bring them to my house. So sometimes plans change.
Right.
Like, sometimes his flights are delayed from New York, and the kids say, I thought, they call him Abba, which means father in Hebrew. They'd say, I thought this was an Abba day. What are you doing here?
Okay.
And I'd say, well, Abba's flight was late, so it's going to be a mommy day for a little while. So if there was a plan they were expecting, it would have been the go to the pool plan, but they knew that it was time to be with me. So
they knew they were going to transition into
so
a
normal
mommy time.
for them would have been mommy all weekend,
Okay.
mommy all week, and then Wednesday Abba.
So I throw in all this detail about how Dan wanted to be with the kids longer today because he was leaving town and he was going to take them swimming and blah, blah, blah.
What you were saying. So for them, this is what they expect, is, I think, for me to come pick them up. It's very normal.
Okay.
I don't know if I can drive a car right now.
And that's why we're going to try to see some friends, kind of try to work out what options we can to help you so you might not have to do that, okay?
Oh, so that's her reason. Okay, so she's in shock. She's worried that she cannot drive a car. And therefore, she feels so confident. She knows that she's not involved. That she feels just totally cool hanging in the police station. Being questioned. It's just fine. Much better than to face the reality and look at the kids of the man you just killed. The kids whose fathers were just taken away. Assuming she was involved.
Okay.
So let me go check on your phone,
Okay.
and then I'll come back and kind of let you know and see maybe how long that'll take, or see if I can find some phone numbers.
My two friends that I was with for lunch when they came and found me, how did they find where I was?
I have no idea.
I mean, did they just search for my car? Like, I am just amazed. I was eating with two girlfriends. They're both psychiatrists.
Okay.
So they'd probably be good people to talk to.
Okay.
One of
I couldn't really understand what she said there, other than, hey, they're probably good people for you to talk to. So she's given them the idea that they should talk to the two ladies who were having lunch with her, to obviously corroborate the fact that she was acting totally normal and careless, and that, you know, she had nothing to do with this murder. How can she have been so calm and having so much fun and laughing around with her two friends who are psychiatrists, who obviously would have noticed if she was a total psycho who had just had her ex killed.
them is a child psychiatrist, so I just
So
feel
she
like
might be a good person to talk to, especially about.
how to talk to the boys.
Okay. I'm gonna be right back.
I'm fine. As
I know,
fine as
I
I'm
know.
gonna be, so I'm fine.
Do you know where Lynn or Jean work? Because we're going to try to find some phone numbers for them, or maybe some work numbers. If they work at.
So, Jane is a PhD student. She's working from home.
Okay.
Lynn works, I'm kind of forgetting what the name of the place is that she works. She does like Holocaust recovery stuff. Department of Financial Services, maybe. It's not DVPR, it might be DFS. But her
So she
husband,
works for the state, though.
her husband and I are close to, like, I'm
Okay.
friends with the family. Her husband's name is Alan Grossman, Allen.
Oops.
And he has his own law firm in town, so he should be really easy to find.
Okay,
It's like
and he-
Grossman, but Furlow and Bio, maybe.
Do you know what street it's off of by chance? Probably downtown. Okay, that's good
But
though.
you
I
can
mean,
find him and find
he's
that
an
number,
attorney.
and he's usually at work. I'm trying to think. All of my really, really close friends live out of town, but yeah.
okay. And go I'm gonna try to do just some Google stuff real quick, and then I'll come back.
Okay. God, we really should start memorizing more phone numbers. I used to know
You know,
them.
it's just technology that makes it easier for us.
I'm going crazy in this white room.
I'm sorry, I know it's not the.
It's not like pictures from
No, no.
I just feel like I'm in a Twilight Zone, and I keep picturing the kids like at a funeral having to say goodbye to their dad, and I just
take it
can't
one
believe
step
I
at a
have to
time.
do this to them.
Do you want me when I find their numbers? Is it okay if I call your
Yeah.
friends?
Yeah,
okay,
it's
you want
fine.
me, and I can go and tell them
I
that you.
could really use some help
Okay.
taking care of the boys tonight.
Of course.
I'm trying to think of who else I would call. My closest friend in town is on vacation right now with her family.
Well, we'll start with Lynn and see kind of where we get from there, since she.
Okay.
Okay.
Ugh.
Hey, Randy. Another kind of question we have: do you want, if we get in touch with one of your friends, do you think it's best if maybe they picked up the kids first, or
Just because it's 4:15 now, I didn't know time-wise what we'd be looking at.
I just don't want to.
bring them?
I was about to say I don't want to traumatize them, but they're about to get plenty traumatized.
And they can take them home.
Right. I just don't know what would be less upsetting for the boys.
That's up to you.
What I would most like.
Or we can make arrangements with the school and just say, look, it's going to be a little late. You need to work with us, and mom and a friend will
I
come.
think they do keep it open till like 5:30
Okay.
or so. So what I would most like would be to pick them up myself and have someone with me in case I don't feel like I can drive well.
That's fine. And Lynn would be your first option
Lynn
to
would
come
be
here.
my first
And
choice,
you're-
or Alan, her husband.
Okay. And you're okay with me speaking with them and telling them to come here
Yeah.
first? And
My car is.
we have the cars here.
Oh, they got it here.
I think they were bringing it here. And I think
Did they take my keys?
I don't
How did
know.
they get the car here?
I don't know.
I guess you guys.
Well, I may be wrong. I thought. Investigator Isom, it may still be at the other place, was going to touch base. Oh, okay. I may be wrong. Was going to touch base with you about, because I know he's done a bunch of different stuff as far as doing your hands and all that stuff, to see if you'd be willing to let us look in your car to see if there's
You can look.
anything,
You
know.
can
Okay.
search the
And
car.
so he'll have another form for you
That's
to do.
fine.
Okay. So I will call them, and the question is, I will not tell them what's going on until they get here.
I would tell them.
Okay. I just didn't know them driving. Are they good friends with him as well?
They've been mutual friends, but
Okay.
they're more my friends.
Okay.
I mean, I think everyone's gonna be devastated.
Sure.
to hear
And maybe
about
I'll
this,
just
but-
say that you're up here, you're fine, but they need to come pick you up, and then we can do that here. You know.
I mean, I think you can tell them
Okay.
Wendy needs help
That's
picking up
fine.
the boys
Yes.
because of what's happened. Like, I think you can.
Wendy needs help. She's the center of the world. Everybody will help her. the butterfly effect of this murder and runs so deep, so wide. This lady got so many people involved in all of this. Whoever decided to kill Dan Markel affected the life of probably dozens, hundreds of people. Well, definitely dozens. Hundreds too. There were students to consider as well. All because this lady wanted to be back in South Florida. Horrendous, isn't it?
Tell them why I need them,
That's fine.
and that's fine.
She said she's fine with the van, searching the van and stuff when,
Do
you know,
you want-
because we were talking about that. So. All right, I will take care of this, Wendy.
Thank you. I don't know who that is. Is she another victim
She's
advocate?
she's
No.
a sergeant with us.
Okay. That was very gendered of me. Sorry.
Those what?
No,
Gendered,
you're
assuming
okay.
she's
No.
a victim advocate because she's a woman.
No.
You're welcome. I'll fill out whatever paperwork you want.
I have it right here.
Search the
Oh my gosh, yes, she's discriminating on the basis of gender. Like if that's what everybody's going to be worried about while they're investigating the murder of Dan Markel. Or whether she looks pretty today or not when she's in crisis.
van. I can read it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And of course she's going to consent to the search of the vehicle. She knows that there's nothing to find.
Have you witnessed that, Sarah?
Sure.
We got an alternative for the kids.
What's the alternative?
Right
somebody
now,
else.
Joanna's calling one of her friends that she gave us and trying to see if they can have the friend come here,
Right.
and then they can go together and pick up the children. That way
Okay.
she'll have the support system.
Right,
So.
absolutely. The receipt you just rolled up, what was that for?
That was lunch. I was trying to find the receipt from the bourbon, but I may have put it with the bourbon. This is from yesterday. It's lunch. But these are old ones. I was looking for the bourbon, but I must have put it in the bag with the bourbon that I kept in the car.
Can I hold on to this one for Mosaic?
Sure.
Do you need it to balance your booking?
No,
Okay.
sir, that's fine.
What's this?
I just didn't want you to think I was crumbling up other
No,
receipts. They're just-
it wasn't for that. I just was thinking before.
No, I just thought I would find the bourbon one,
Yeah,
but I must have put it in the bag.
just looking at the date.
I eat a lot. I lost the key to my house, so I went to buy many spare keys to give to friends around town so I don't get locked out of my house again.
Okay.
So that's
All
what
right.
that is. It's my many spare keys that are now around Tallahassee, which now makes me nervous.
Okay. I know the receipt that I might be interested.
I wonder about that. Was she trying to show that she planned to be around and that's why she did that? Is there any relationship? Did she intend to have receipts in her purse that would be shown to the cops and that would show her buying tons of keys for the house? I don't know. I don't think that she went that far. That would be totally psycho.
in is the gas receipt.
Yeah. Oh, I asked for no receipt,
Okay.
so I can give you my
That's okay.
charge card information, but
If I need it later on.
I didn't get a receipt.
That's all right.
Okay.
But you bought the bourbon over there sometime afternoon and then went to, okay. All right.
It should be, the bourbon's in the car, so
Okay.
it should be in there.
Okay. I'll get started on this and we'll hold on to this.
Are you bringing the car here?
Yes, I think it's already here.
How did they bring it here without
Tow truck.
keys?
Tow
Tow
truck.
truck.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're trying to be as efficient as possible. All right, so we're working on the
Yep, Joanna's trying to make contact now with some friends.
okay, and then they'll come here hopefully.
Hopefully, as long as she can get in contact.
Do you think I need to, I had like a whole weekend of plans ahead with the kids and stuff, like, should I start contacting people and let them know that like I can't,
Just,
What's a good idea?
um,
I just, like, I can't show up for, like, play dates right now, so.
sure, yeah.
I don't know, like, do you want me not to tell people what's going on? Is this, like,
Well,
I got that call from Lisa Carey, so, like, how did she find out?
well, she said she saw something in Everett or heard
She
something.
said she heard there was a shooting on Trescott. I thought because she's a real estate agent, maybe she was rolling around and she saw Trescott, but how did, like, is it on the news? Like,
Well, I can tell you that there was news media out there with cameras, but I don't know if anything has been reported as to the specific address.
Okay.
I don't know what our public information office has released.
I'm asking for you, like,
Okay.
I don't want to, like, make this,
She wants to know what she can tell people or what she can't right now.
which, in
Well,
terms of making things better or worse for you.
I would say that for right now, I would not deny to anybody that something did happen, but
But
you
if
could,
I'm gonna call and cancel all my, like, I'm supposed to be at a party
Right.
tonight, like,
okay, I can't go. There's been an incident.
so I
that's
can
happened
just
in
tell people I'm just not gonna be able to be
Right.
there. I'll talk to you later, and that's
Right.
it.
That's
Okay.
That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't want you not to have a support network of friends.
Yeah.
And
Well, I
and
will
you-
tell who needs to know, but like,
Right.
I don't.
You want to explain
don't-
this to 1,000 people.
Well, it's not about. It's yes.
There is this party that she's supposed to go to at night. So, to me, one question that is up in the air is whether or not she was supposed to take the kids to this party where she's bringing bourbon, or she would have arranged for somebody to babysit the kids. And she stayed pretty late at the police station, yet I didn't see any discussion from her about canceling or notifying whoever was going to babysit the kids that she was not going to need those services anymore. So that was up in the air.
But I don't think that's good for the kids. Like, I don't want people. I don't know what to do about, like, the kids are really young. I don't know what to do in terms of that reaction. But I also am kind of scared that there's, like, some maniac out there, and I would like for you to find whoever that is. So I don't want to make things worse in some way in terms of you being able to find someone.
Okay.
Yes, of course she's trying to help them find the real killer. And she's really scared that there's a maniac out there, and she still hasn't said, let's drop everything, go get my kids. I want to make sure that they're with me, safe in my arms.
That's all I'm asking.
I would just only tell the people that need to know, that
Okay.
are closest to you for your benefit. And anyone else, if they inquire, you can tell them any excuse you want. You can say, the police have asked me not to discuss it.
Okay.
It's as simple as that.
I'll throw you under the bus.
Okay, I'm used to that.
Okay. That's it, I swear I'm just blowing my nose.
You're all right.
Sarah, your job is very hard.
It is.
And somebody commented about all the tissues, the accumulation of tissues that are left in there. Of course, that's a source of DNA. So the cops are not going to throw it away. They don't know if they are going to need this lady's DNA, and they can get any source that they can get it from. They'll preserve.
You have a very nice personality for it. Very calming.
Thank you for saying that. That's kind of how I sell myself sometimes on doing this.
It's really hard. Do you know Gwen?
Gwen Williams?
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I think you did a presentation at a Red Cross human trafficking.
Sure. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Because
At Salvation Army?
yes.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that was me.
I thought so. Because when they were kind of telling me, who I was going to be talking with, I was like, that sounds familiar.
And I had the boys there that morning, and that's why I talked.
And I remembered you talking about your boys actually too.
Well, it's good to see you again.
Sorry, under these circumstances.
I feel like I'm in the middle of a nightmare.
This isn't something that anyone plans on going through or wants to go through.
We were
So
divorced. It wasn't good, but this is never something you would ever want to happen. I understand why I'm a suspect. I guess I'm not a suspect. I understand why you would think that I would do this, but not you, but
Right.
I'm just worried about the kids. And I'm so sorry for his family. And for his children who are now going to grow up without a father. And I have no idea who would do this, and I feel like they're out there. And if they're capable of this, like, what's to keep them from going after the kids? Like, if they hate Danny, then why wouldn't they hate his children?
And you know, they're doing this investigation now to kind of figure out what happened.
He didn't do it to himself. There's no way he did it.
Again, she keeps bringing up this whole suicide thing when nobody has ever suggested anything about suicide. It's ridiculous. Why does she keep bringing that up?
He never really got depressed. He never got that sad. You know, like, he was a really positive guy. It wasn't him.
And you know, just because you guys are divorced, you probably know him very well, probably better than anyone else does. So,
Except for the last 2 years. Like, I don't know specifics of, like...
well, right, his personal life, but you still know his personality.
I do.
And, you know, personalities usually don't change very often, so...
Yeah. I'm gonna have a hard time not being sad in front of the boys. I need to tell them today, don't I?
I think you do.
Have you done this before? Doesn't
Have
matter
I
if
told,
you've done this before.
have I told children? You know, I have, not as young as your...
I don't know, victim advocate or not, I find it completely weird that she would be asking this lady questions about whether she should tell her children about the fact that her husband, ex-husband, and their father is in the hospital. First of all, he's not dead yet, right? So I understand that she was told that he was gonna likely not make it. But still, why would you be asking a victim advocate sitting around here? I mean, you would want to say, okay, am I done? Can I go be with my kids? Let's get over with this thing. And that's it. And, you know, she had lunch with 2 psychologists. One is a child psychologist or psychiatrist. She can ask them about these things if she was really concerned about what to do with the kids. Not some victim advocate lady in the sheriff's office. That doesn't make any sense.
Boys,
What do I tell them?
you know where your boys are at. You know kind of what you've talked to your boys, you know, and I know they're so young, you know, some parents have conversations about life and death and things like that, and some haven't at that age.
We had our first conversation about God
Okay.
yesterday,
Okay.
ever.
Okay, this was so weird. Another coincidence that it's just really weird. The day before the murder is the first time ever. First time ever. Hello, Philippe. The day before the murder is the first time ever that she has a conversation with her kids about death.
And Ben was clipping into his car seat, and Ben out of nowhere says, "Mommy, I bet Abba knows a lot more about God than you do." And I said, well, different people have different beliefs about God. And so we get to the car, and Ben was like, "Is God a man or a woman?" I said, well, some people believe that he or she is an old white man with a long white beard. And Lincoln, who's 3.5, said, "God is dead."
And is Ben's your oldest then? And then who's your 3.5-year-old?
Lincoln.
Lincoln?
And I
I
said,
love that name.
Lincoln, like, I was like, it's like Nietzsche in the backseat. Like, it's like Lincoln, who's still in diapers, but is having a sophisticated conversation about God. And I just was laughing and laughing, and they were asking such interesting questions, and I was answering them with, like, different people think different things. And, you know, but it was just our first time we ever had a conversation. Really, they talk about superheroes a lot, and so sometimes they'll joke, they'll fall over and be like, "I'm dead," and I say, "I really don't like it when you say that." And you know, they've talked about like animals being like he was dead, like on the ground, and they even quasi understand Lincoln's named after my grandmother, and whose initials are LJ, so his initials are LJ. he would say to my mom, who's still very heartbroken over the loss of her mother, he would say to her mom, like, is your mommy dead? And she'd say, yes, you know, you're named after him. And he'd say something like, well, is she in heaven then? You know, like, so they have some fleeting concept of things like God.
They know heaven.
I mean, I don't know.
And let me just kind of back.
Again, I cannot emphasize this enough. The day before her ex, the father of her children, gets shot and murdered, in a sense, she's having the first time ever a conversation with two young kids about death. What a coincidence, right?
I'm not sure what Investigator Isom kind of told you. You know that he's still alive.
No, I didn't know that.
He's.
Is he possibly gonna make it?
I don't know the answer to that. I know.
He made it sound like he was gone. So does that mean that he might be okay? You
I
know?
don't think, from what it sounds like, I don't think he'll be
the same. Okay, but he might make it.
I don't want to give you that false hope.
I'm sorry, I just thought he was gone, and now I don't know what to tell. It's sort of a game changer.
I know, and that's why I was kind of asking you.
I didn't know that. He
I
made it sound like he was gone.
I don't think it's good though.
I know that's sort of what he said, but I assumed he was saying that like euphemistically.
And that's why I'm kind of because I don't want to be misleading.
Is there any way to find out if because if he might be okay, like I want to bring the kids to him so that they can.
And that's kind of stuff we'll talk about in a little, but let me ask him.
I just think that's different, right? Like, if
No,
he's not going to make it and he can see the kids one more time, then he should see them. So, is there, are we getting updates from the hospital?
They have been, they were at the hospital. Obviously, when, something like this happens, they do go to the hospital.
How did this, so when it happened, did someone call the police because they heard a gunshot or something? How would they know did he call the police? How would they know to take him to the hospital?
I don't know the answers to all these, and I'm not, I'm going to when Investigator Isom comes back in here, I'll let you kind of ask some of those questions.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
But I didn't want you to think, I'm sorry, I just didn't want you to think that he was
I thought he was gone.
And that's what I was getting from your conversation, and I didn't want it to be.
If he's still alive, I need to make different choices.
Right.
I want the boys to be with him. Well, I don't know. I mean, if he looks scary, then...
Right, and that's what...
Is that why? Does he look scary? Is that why?
I don't know. I haven't seen him.
Because I think that would be more traumatizing for the kids to see something horrible. Right. I don't want them to.
And I will say, from a victim advocate perspective, I always recommend people not to, especially young children.
They're so little. I mean, they could I want them to have. If it's gonna have to be memories, I want them to be good. Mm-hmm. Because their last memory would have been him taking them to school this morning. Mm-hmm. This morning. Is the police officer still at school? Are the boys safe there right now?
I don't know the for sure answer to that, but I do know that they checked on them.
And I know they checked on them, but the kids, I just want to make sure they're okay.
Let me go talk and let me ask them that for you. Wendi, look at me. There's no reason for them to think that anything's going to happen to the boys right now, okay?
Okay.
And I just want you to know that there's no indications that...
But why would someone do this? Why wouldn't they just come after my whole family?
I do hear your concern. I do. I just want you to know, though, there's no... If there was an indication...
Well, if she was really worried about that, I mean, I guess somebody could. I mean, if somebody in your family gets shot, you might be worried about your kids. But then act like it, right? I mean, immediately say, I'm not going to sit at this freaking police station being interrogated for hours. I want my kids with me right now. We can talk later. She's a lawyer. I mean, come on. Of course she's not worried about the kids.
I mean, there's no indication some crazy person was going to kill Danny, so why would they not think someone was going to, anything could happen, right?
From what I understood, that there was someone that was at the school.
Did they didn't find anyone like running away to see him today?
I don't.
This is important. Again, she's trying to gather information while she's being interrogated, right? So all of this leads up to her trying to find out, did they get a look at the person? Did they see who committed the murder? Did they have a description? Anything like that? That information then can be sent to the people who organize this, right? If she's in it, that's why she would get that information.
I don't know that answer. Okay. I'm sorry. I know I'm giving you a lot of I don't know.
I know I'd rather that than you make something up, but I just have no idea what's happening right now.
I'm sorry. Let me go see and try to talk to Investigator Isom and see if he can give you a little bit more clarity.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I tried Lynn's office, and of course it's, she's a state worker at 4:30 on a Friday, so she wasn't there. I called,
for my phone.
and not yet.
Okay.
I called Alan
What
and
is your name?
Sergeant Baldwin, Joanna, sorry. And I spoke with his secretary. He didn't answer his cell phone. I did get a hold of Jane, okay? So she is on her way, okay? And I'll keep trying Alan. They were sending him a whatever message to his phone, so he will probably call me.
Did you tell Jane what happened?
No, I told her, I didn't want to tell her over the phone. I said, I'm sorry, I'm being cryptic. Something's happened with her ex-husband and she needs you here and we need help picking up the kids and you're free to go with her when she gets here. We'll work on car seats. They may be done doing what they need to do with your van when she gets here, so y'all can take your car or we can get the car seats, however we need to do it.
Okay.
Okay? Do you want anything to drink? Or, I know that's probably the last thing on your mind, but anything to drink or snack, or I know you were at lunch, but.
Just some water.
Some water? Okay.
Thank you.
No problem.
We got somebody?
Yep, she's on her way.
Okay, where's she going?
She's coming here,
Okay.
and then I told her we would figure it out from there. She doesn't have car seats, so we need to
Can
work
you get
that
with
out.
Couch? Because he's doing the van,
Okay.
and they can move the car seats over to the other
Yep.
car.
And I didn't know if we'd be done or what, but we will get those.
Yeah. All right. I'm trying to keep you informed as much as possible.
Thank you.
I'm trying to be in a bunch of places at once.
My
It's-
grandmother once said you can't have your tuchus in 2 places at once. It's hard
That's
to
true.
do.
That's true.
I'm
Here's
losing my mind over here.
okay. This is the thing. All right. I'm my understanding. Okay. I'm going to give you the. Let me do it backwards because this will be easier, or not backwards, but the other way.
Is he still alive?
Clinically, he's not going to live.
What does that mean?
He has
Is
a
he brain
severe
dead?
yes. He has a severe brain injury.
So much better than that.
It's apparently there's too much damage to recover from it. Okay, that's why we need to get a hold of
His
parents.
family.
Right.
I don't know what his I don't know if he has an advance directive or
Right.
what he would have wanted. He once told me that he would want we joked, I said I would want to be like, if I have an advance directive, I do this kind of work, I run a medical legal partnership, if I once said if I ever was brain.
This is again important. So first she gets information that there's no way that he's going to survive, right? And now here she comes with something that will make her look 100% innocent. Please, he would like for the hospital, for the doctors to fight until the end, to do everything possible to keep him alive forever. So once she gets that information that he's never going to make it back, Now she's like looking all innocent and saying that please do everything possible for him. And of course, if she was really worried about that, she would have immediately asked, I want to go to the hospital. I want to make sure I talk to the people there, doctors, that they fight for him, instead of sitting around in a police station.
That I would want to be like, I'd want the plug pulled,
Right.
and he said he would want all efforts made, like he would be cryogenically frozen, like he wanted every single effort that could be made to keep him alive. I know that much.
My understanding, and that's what we'll have to get a hold of the family as soon as possible, but my understanding is there's irreparable damage. There's nothing that can be done. I mean, I'm not there, I wasn't there, but I understand from previous cases that the brain, his brain is damaged beyond repair. There's nothing that can be done for that.
Is he still alive? Should I bring the kids to see him?
No. He has severe facial injury. I'm sorry, and I know this is tough, but I would not want my children to see.
Okay, I just thought I got this inkling that maybe he was like still somewhat conscious and I
No.
wanted him to get to be with them if that. Okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry about that, but that's
Okay.
that's the way it is. Like I said,
Okay.
there's severe injury, trauma.
Okay.
All right,
Is there someone is there a doctor working on him, or are they just?
There's doctors at the trauma bay, the ER.
Yeah.
I think he's been transferred to ICU.
Okay.
All right, and they'll have to make a determination about organs
Oh my
and so
God.
forth.
Oh.
So, hence, hopefully we can.
Okay, the kids. Yeah, the kids.
All right, now let's talk about the kids. Okay.
Okay.
Fine. I don't know who the contact person was. Was it one of the ladies that you were eating with?
No.
Miss McPherson.
I thought I wasn't supposed to contact them, so I didn't ask about those two because I thought it seemed. Anyway, I
That's
asked
fine.
two other women I'm friends with.
Okay, that are familiar
I
with the
think
children.
Jane is who they got.
Does the daycare place have to be contacted to allow her to?
Oh, I kind of thought I would go with her.
Okay, here's the thing. All right, as soon as his phone comes back,
Yeah.
I have to ask you some questions about I've already known about the phone.
Yeah.
Would it be possible
It would
for?
be weird for Jane to Jane likes the boys a lot, but it would be better for Lynn to pick them up, just because Lynn has picked them up before. Like when Danny had a back surgery,
Okay.
they call her Aunt Linny. They're really close with her. If we could get her cell phone number,
Okay.
or
Do
her
Lynn and Jane know
daughter,
each other at all?
probably a little through
Through
me,
you,
but
but not friends.
yeah. I mean, Jane would be. Jane's a therapist. Like, she'd be very comforting. She has two kids of her own. She'd be fine. But I'm trying not to freak the kids out any more than necessary. So, Lynn or Alan, her husband, Alan or Lynn would be the best choice.
You don't have a number by heart for them?
No.
Okay.
Here, let me go check with Joanna and see
Please.
where she got. If she got far with them.
The reason being is.
You need to talk to me.
Yes.
Okay.
And you've been great. I mean, you understand exactly how we have to do things, and I haven't had to explain a lot of stuff, but really, I feel the need to. I really want you here.
Okay.
If and you're not under arrest or anything like that.
I understand why you
But
think I'm
but-
the primary suspect.
No, you're not the primary suspect. I have to work just as hard, whether you were or you're not.
Okay.
Okay.
I understand.
To show what your activities were.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And let's put it this way. I think you're a straightforward person, and I think at this point, if you had anything to do with this, you'd have already told me,
Okay.
and you haven't. So my thing is that let's let the.
My ex-husband caused me a lot of grief. I would never do something like that.
I know. And it's
So
gonna.
I understand why I would
Okay.
be the person you would think would do something, but
Well, we have to work just as hard to eliminate
it's
people.
fine. I want to figure out who this is because I'm honestly worried.
Well, let me ask you, if you found out that this was someone that you personally know, would that change your mind about what should happen to that person?
about what should happen to that person?
for prosecution purposes?
No.
Is there any way that you would think
if
somebody
somebody tried to kill my ex-husband, they should be prosecuted to the full extent of the law.
regardless of who it is?
I mean, it would be different if I thought it were my brother, but I don't think it was my family. Anyone outside my immediate family, that's a tough one.
Okay.
But I don't think my immediate family did this. So
Okay.
if it's anybody else, yeah.
Okay.
Interesting that she was honest enough to say that, right? That if it is anybody except my family, they should be punished. If it is my family, they, maybe I have some second thought about that. That's pretty honest. So obviously she's trying to look as honest as possible here. And that's what an honest person would say. So, I mean, she's pretty smart.
Would you think that this guy Charlie would even be capable of doing something like this?
No.
Let's just talk.
He's the Joker.
Okay. All right. Based on the fact that the clock is already ticking, all right, and we have to do as much work as possible up front, that's why I want you to stay here,
Okay.
if at all possible.
Okay.
But you're these children's mother, and if they have somebody,
I can't freak him out,
nobody's gonna freak them out.
I know, I'm just saying, like, my kids, like, they're already gonna have to deal with so much. Like, they're gonna wonder where I am, and the best thing would be Lynn and Alan, to have them hang around with them. My friend Janine, I was with two women. One of them is they're both doctors, but one of them has kids that the boys are friends with. And so, like, he could go over to their house. They could go over to their house and spend time. I don't want them, like, where's mommy? What's
Mommy's
going on?
busy. Mommy's busy, can't come here right now. Will that suffice?
For a little while, yeah.
All right. Lynn, do we have a number for Lynn?
Joanna tried to get in contact with her, left a message at Alan's office for him to call. They haven't heard back yet.
Can they page him? Like, do they have a...
Now I know Jane's on the way here, and you just don't think she...
I mean, I think she'd be okay. I think I'd rather Jane. Jane has just never picked up my kids before.
Would the school have a problem with Jane picking them up?
Given the circumstances, no.
Okay. Well, I mean, do they have to have authorization?
They probably do. I mean, I can call the school, and I mean, this is a very unusual circumstance. I can call the school and tell them I approve Jane McPherson to pick up the kids, and then.
Does she have a place to take them?
I mean, she has a nice house, a comfortable, like
She
a
willing to
child-friendly
do that?
house.
I mean, I know she's on her way here
She
now.
doesn't know what happened. I don't think. She just knows I'm here.
Let's get Jane's on her way here. All right, and the school's out on Tharp, and I'm assuming she lives up in the northeast part of town.
Quite an assumption. Yeah, she's off Waverly. And her husband is a writer, so both parents are around.
Okay. Let's have Jane. You want me to talk to her, or just tell her that, or have Joanna tell? I'll talk to
I
Joanna.
think someone should. Jane was a victim advocate too for a while. She's in there. Jane McPherson.
McPherson.
My
Or was
friend
she a
Jane.
victim advocate?
In Gadsden.
Okay.
Maybe she wasn't. She's a therapist.
Okay.
Did she do something with the university now, or is she just a PhD
She was the 1
student?
million bones woman.
Okay, that's where I know it's coming from.
Will you coordinate with her, and let her call the school to have Jane pick the children up? I'm gonna redirect Jane to the school directly.
Okay.
It's what's your
Creative preschool. It's on Tharp. Right past there's a Magnolia school, and then there's Creative on your right.
It's right up here, right?
It's on Tharp.
Oh, no.
There's a
Park out
couple.
west of town.
There's a couple. I'm really bad with directions. If you were to go all the way up Tennessee
Right.
and turn right, like on, I think it's Ocala, right
Right.
where Super Perros is, and then you'd make a left on Tharp. You'd go up a little ways more, and it would be on your right.
Creative preschool.
I'm gonna throw up.
Come in the bathroom if you need to.
Okay.
Do you want
Leave
to go
this
in there for a
open?
bit?
No, I'm fine.
Okay. Well, let me know if it's that.
So remember that in the end, Jane came here and someone else picked up the kids. And when Jane comes in, it's very interesting because if you recall, and we're going to get to it, I guess, when she comes in, she's the one who suggests to look into Jeffrey Lacasse. Professor Lacasse was the boyfriend that Wendi had just broken up with sort of a week before and told them not to have any contact with her during this week. And so Jane brought up the name Jeffrey Lacoste, not her. But it seems to me that it possibly was by design, because it comes out during this interrogation as well. Everything comes out in this interrogation that Wendi and Jane went for a long walk just a night or two before this incident, when she was discussing with Jane in great detail all the problems that she, Wendi Adelson, was having with Jeffrey Lacoste, and how he, was maybe acting crazily jealous or whatever. She was basically making defamatory statements about Jeffrey to Jane, sort of to ensure that Jane, when this happened, that's what it seems to me. So as to make sure that when this happened, when the shooting happens, Jane would think, "Oh my gosh, was this Jeffrey Lacoste?"
I'm just gonna Google if that's okay.
Create a preschool, yeah. Ugh.
Exam 46 West 3rd Street.
Yeah, that sounds right. Uh-huh.
Do you want
It's like a whole cast of characters. You get Jane from 1 Million Bones. Were you involved in that?
I knew about it, and I know I saw a lot of stuff on it.
Yeah.
I can't recall if I've done anything directly with it, but... Do you want me to talk to them first, or do you want to...
What would you tell them what happened, or no?
No.
Okay. I will talk to them.
I would just say, this is the person's going to pick up, stipulating circumstances, please.
Yeah. Hi, Mr. Chuck.
Especially a lawyer. She's not just an innocent person, right? Supposedly, but a lawyer. I mean, come on. She would know her rights. She would know that she can just come back to them later and so on and so forth. Get her kids, get her priorities, find out what's going on with her ex.
This is Wendi, Ben, and Lincoln's mom. Hi. I'm not going to be able to pick them up today, but my friend Jane McPherson's going to come. Is that okay? Her name is Jane McPherson. She's a petite woman with short blonde hair. Yes. She should have her ID if she's driving. Yeah. Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. Chuck. Are the boys doing okay? Okay. Well, that sounds great. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Bye. Lincoln's outside playing. Ben is in the blocks area playing with blocks.
They're only a year and a half apart, so they'll be like a year behind each other every time in school, right?
They have Ben's a July birthday, Lincoln's October, so they may end up a little more spaced.
Okay. So like have the because July he'll probably be like the young baby in classes.
That was our.
He'll be the older.
That's what we were supposed to talk about this morning. Is like whether Ben should start kindergarten or go to kindergarten twice, or what he should do. And then he didn't call me back, which was weird.
Are you thirsty?
Yeah.
Let me see if I...
Is it Joanne or Joanna?
Joanna.
She said she was going to bring some water.
Okay. We're kind of all running around. Let me get
feel
that
like
for you.
not
Let me
being
grab
around.
some more tissues too.
I've gone through.
Oh, I want to be around you. I just know if I was sitting here, what would I probably want? Not much, but I'll be right back, okay?
Okay. I guess this is a very different version of me you saw on the stage speaking versus having this. Thank you for that.
Yes, that this is an acceptable version given the circumstances, I don't think.
I just keep picturing the kids and what I'm going to tell them.
And from what I understand, Lynn's here.
Lynn's here?
Yeah, I think they're going to go ahead and have her go pick up the kids.
Should I just like get a hug from her?
Let me see if she's still here. Okay. She's not up here probably, so let me see.
I'm sorry, I don't want to run you around. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Hey, do you want a hug from her?
I'd really love. Yeah. So
that's okay. Sometimes all I can do is run around. Okay.
Protection of reality.
I'll be right back. Okay. Take a little bit longer than yesterday. I was going to get Jane and bring her here for you to see. Okay.
Alan is going to get Jane? I'm sorry,
Investigator Isom, which is the man that's been talking to you. He's going to grab her.
Grab Jane?
Yes, and Jane kind of voiced to Joanna the kids probably wouldn't really necessarily recognize her. So, and in the meantime, Alan and Lynn got in touch with Joanna, so I think now what's happening, and Joanna already called the preschool. Sorry, I know this is a lot of information taken, but I think Lynn's going to come here, get car seats, go to the preschool.
She can't take the car because they were, like, examining the car.
I think, or I don't, but essentially,
if they
yes.
can take the car seats out, they are so dirty.
Okay.
It's covered in Cheerios. And I actually meant to make an appointment this week to get it cleaned, and I didn't get around to it.
Okay.
So they're going to take the car seats out of the car, put them in Alan and Lynn's car.
And then they'll bring them.
Alan and Lynn, like, the kids will be quite comfortable around them.
Right, okay.
And Jane's right, she hasn't seen the kids in a while. So Jane's coming in here now?
Yes.
Does she know what's going on? Do Alan and Lynn know what's going on?
I think they know that he's been seriously injured. I don't
Hi.
Hi, Annie. Oh, dear. Oh, Wendy.
Here's the dear Jane McPherson, the lady who went for a walk a couple of days earlier with Wendi, and they had this nice long discussion about Professor Jeffrey Lacasse. She's also the person who introduced Wendi to Professor Lacasse. So she set up their first date.
I really needed some help. I'm sorry, I needed to call you.
It's okay, sweetie.
Did they tell you?
They didn't tell me. I know.
There's things on the news?
It is on the news, but I don't know anything. I know there was a shooting in Danny's block this morning. That's all I know.
That's all I know.
Oh dear, oh, honey. You know how he is?
He's not good, Jane.
Really?
Remember, Jane knows that there's a very contentious relationship between Wendi and her ex. So I think that Jane must be surprised by this reaction too, even if the ex was the father of her children.
I was driving up the street and I saw the tape and I just thought, oh, maybe there's an electrical outage or something. I saw the street blocked.
Again, this is very important. Again, she's talking about the fact that she drove to the scene of the crime. Another nice little coincidence. Just after the murder, she drives to the scene.
I was driving into town. I was running errands. I was meeting some friends for lunch, and I drove up Trescott because it's the shortcut.
So she's trying to explain in great detail to her friend Jane why the heck she drove by the scene, because I'm sure that Jane would think, what the fudge? Why would she drive by the scene? So, I'm doing errands. And of course, I took the shortcut right by our old house.
So I drive up Trescott and I see the tape and I was like, I guess there was an electrical outage because sometimes we'd have trees that would fall or whatever. And so I turned around and didn't think anything of it. I was at lunch with 2 friends and the officer shows up. And I've been here since then.
And you don't have a phone?
Well, I had a phone. I said you can search my phone because maybe they can find something useful on it.
We have to go through a lot of these steps, and that's
Of course,
explaining to her. It's just as much effort to go through the steps to exclude anybody that could possibly be
Well,
involved.
of course, yeah.
Yeah. So we have her phone as soon as it's taking a little bit longer than normal, and as soon as we get done with the phone, she'll get it back.
Yeah.
So the main thing
I'm sure that the cops are taking a lot longer on purpose with this phone, because the lady is just talking and talking and talking. And the more she talks, the more she will unwittingly reveal. So I'm sure that was a ploy. The whole thing with the phone probably was done in a few minutes.
concerned about is the kids need to be picked up
Well,
on
exactly.
Friday.
Right.
And so when I came and they said they'd spoken to the Grossmans,
Yeah.
I was like, I'll get the kids. I'm a
Right.
social worker. I've picked up kids that don't know me before, but I
Right.
think
I
especially given this.
I gave them your name and Lynn's name
Right.
and said, I think Alan and Lynn have done it. When Danny had his back surgery, Alan and Lynn did it before, so because I was out
Right.
of town,
And
so
they have, right.
they've
they
done
have.
it before. They've got 4 kids, so they can.
I have, you're gonna be here for a while. You want me to
I think
set
so.
So, I might have a blanket in my car or something.
Do we have anything
Do you have
here, or have they all
something
been
for
used?
somebody who could get?
Let me check.
This
see
one
that
is
is good enough
freezing.
for her.
And I apologize, I thought about that when she was shivering earlier, but I guess got a lot of stuff going
No,
on.
there's clearly there's
Not really the most
it
important
isn't.
thing
It's
right
not the most important thing.
No, I saw her shivering and I kept thinking I'll go out and find out if they had a bunch of them. They had a bunch of them, but I don't know what's still available.
So what do you mean he's not good? What do you know about this?
I don't think he's gonna make it.
Oh my god.
Really?
Oh,
I don't know how I'm gonna tell the kids.
put that on.
That would be great, thank you. You really don't think that? You know that?
What's that? I'm sorry.
You know that they don't think he's gonna make it through this? Oh, really?
He's not gonna make it.
And he's a TMH right now?
And I was asking because I thought maybe he would, and I wanted
Right.
I wanted the kids to be
Yes.
with him if he was
No,
okay.
Okay. And he has family and stuff in the hospital or something?
We don't have
No.
any family here.
No, it's-
Right, I know, but I mean,
There's no family here.
They don't.
girlfriend, anybody come down, nothing?
Amy, I don't know if Amy knows yet. I don't have Amy's phone number.
Amy's on
Oh.
Facebook.
I'll contact her later.
She's on Facebook. I mean, she can be found.
Yeah. I was thinking of one more thing. This is really tangential, but his friend I told you about, Matt Price,
Right.
his wife's brother was killed. So if you're going to call someone first, Matt's going to lose it. So
I don't intend on calling Matt. I just
Okay.
need to have the background on different associates and friends and so
yeah.
forth. You know, my objective is to find out who did this. So, based on what you've told me, I'm going to take that information, compile it with other information that other investigators have worked on, and we'll see where it leads.
Okay.
Now, I'm not saying anybody that you told me about is any way involved.
Is there
I
any
don't know.
sign of stuff being stolen from the house?
I can't discuss that.
Okay.
So,
But you are discussing that you don't think he's going to live. I mean,
well, I'm telling you a fact that I know. He's not going to live. He's not going to live. Okay. So,
is he dead now?
well, I already discussed that with her. He has enough injury that's traumatic enough that he's not going to be able to recover from it.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
Did Lynn already go get the boys?
Yes.
What's happening right now is Lynn's on her way here. She doesn't have car seats.
Uh,
Gonna take the car seats out of your van, put them in Lynn's vehicle, and she's gonna go directly to Creative Preschool,
she has a key to my house, so she can.
pick up the kids. If I get a chance to, when she arrives, I will talk to her briefly and basically tell her, you know, let's wait on discussing anything with the children.
Of course.
Yeah.
I'm sure she would do that anyway.
Yeah. I wonder if it would be better if she didn't know. Like if you
It's,
That's
I mean,
just so
here's-
that because she's gonna be done. Like, what if she can't then drive and go get the boys? Like,
okay, but let me just say to you, I didn't know anything when I came here. So my husband Googles and says there was a shooting on Trescott Drive this morning at 11.
I got a call from
So-
my real estate agent who heard something.
So I know that I didn't know why I was coming here, but anybody with more sense would have known that.
John told you that
Yes.
when you told him you were coming here? Or?
No, they found John.
Mhm.
Interestingly, they found John's cell phone number.
They found me eating lunch. I don't know how that happened. I'm fascinated still.
And
We have ways of finding
yeah, it's interesting. So they called my husband's cell phone, and he was like, here she is. Talk to her, and they said you needed me at the police department, so I came.
Right.
It was not a.
What did you think I needed you for?
I wasn't thinking it was good news, but I didn't. My thought was that Danny had probably assaulted you. That was my
I
thought.
think that was Lisa's thought when she's like, I heard there was a shot on Trescott,
So-
and so I hope you're okay.
So
the
that.
realtor.
Yeah.
So that was my, but this scenario, which is now not seeming real to me,
Yeah,
didn't
well, me
seem
neither.
like was not what I,
Me neither.
What I thought of.
I just keep picturing the kids.
right. No. So there's no point in doing that, don't do that. So
When Lynn gets here, I'm gonna just ask her to take the kids to her house. Would that be
Instead of my
reasonable?
house?
I think
Would that
that's
be
much
more
better.
reasonable?
Is that better? She has a TV. They can
Yeah,
watch TV.
yeah,
I know, but
Yes.
they've been there before.
A
Yeah.
bunch.
Yeah,
they're
take them
very
there.
comfortable there.
Do they
Take them
have
there.
children of their own?
They've got 4 kids. They're grown, but
Take
Okay.
them there. Take them
okay.
there.
Yeah.
Because,
All right, I'm gonna go make sure that I don't miss her.
Okay.
thank you.
Lynn Grossman, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
This is Sarah, by the way.
Hi, sir. Are you a victim advocate?
I am.
I said you used to be a victim advocate. Was I
That's
right?
not true. Yeah, I've done lots of stuff like that.
I
but-
recognize your name, and then she's saying.
What's your last name?
Latour. I've only been here about 2.5 years.
I am losing my shit.
Well, that would be appropriate. I think you should do that. I think if you don't do that, then that's
Jane,
not right.
who would have done this?
I have just
And
one
are they
idea.
going to come after my kids? Or me? Who's next?
Is Jeff this much of a lunatic?
I don't even think of Jeff. I hope to God not.
Let me ask who Jeff is.
Yeah, of
Yeah, I
course.
think you should. I think Wendy's been seeing a guy called Jeff,
Who's a friend of Jane's. And
who's jealous.
yeah.
Are you still currently seeing him, or just something you kind of
Well,
let taper off?
it's been a bad week.
Okay.
Yeah, Jane and I actually went for a walk together Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, early this week.
Earlier this week, but you've taken a 1 week break.
So they're explaining that earlier in the week, this is Friday, so earlier in the week they went for a walk together and they were talking about how Professor Jeffrey Lacasse, supposedly, according to Wendy, is crazily jealous.
From
I took
Jeff.
a 1 week break from communication with Jeff to figure out what to do.
Okay.
Because we've been dating for like
A year.
9 months, so like 10 months a year.
And when you use the word dating to you, is that's my boyfriend, or is it more of just dating,
Yes.
like the casual? Okay.
No, like, he was my boyfriend and involved with the kids, and I mean, yeah. And we had kind of a fight recently, and he's been trying to get back together, and I didn't know if I wanted to, and so he actually, the morning that I gave that talk, my boys were there and Jeff was watching them, so I could give the talk. Like, he's, Jane, do you think I have to tell them about him?
I think you
guess?
have to tell them about him because that is the only,
God forbid.
the only thing that I can imagine related to you, related to Danny, would be
The only
Jeff.
thing I could come up with was like his girlfriend Amy is recently divorced, separated, not really divorced. Like,
Sure. So
what if-
either of those people.
Like the jealous boyfriend types. Like, what if the ex-husband?
Right, totally. And you know that this divorce has been very stressful, and Jeff has been very stressed out by the stressfulness of your divorce. You know,
I mean, what am I? I mean, I'll tell them this, right? Like, can you tell them?
And when Mr. Isom comes back, you guys can just, stay, and he'll ask all the questions.
Again, if Professor Lacasse is being honest, which I believe his testimony, that she 5 days before was talking about her brother having thought about hiring a hitman to murder Dan Markel.
After asking to speak to me confidentially, she told me that last summer that Charles Adelson had looked into all possible options to take care of the Danny Markel problem, including hiring a hitman, and that it would cost about $15,000. I revised the amount. I said potentially that could have been $50,000. I'm unsure of the amount. The rest of the statement, very confident, is true. Well, she asked to speak to me confidentially. She was dead serious about it. It was a chilling statement. I had a reaction to it. My stomach flipped, a little scary, a little weird. So it was a very serious statement she's making.
So clearly not a joke.
No, it was not a joke. There are other jokes in that domain. This was completely distinct and discrete from any joke. This was not funny.
And this statement was made within 5 days of Mr. Markel's murder by a hitman.
That's correct.
All this stuff about somebody else is pretty pathetic. I mean, her main concern should be, I want to get the hell out of here, and I want to talk to my family and make sure that they didn't do this.
That investigators ask that I don't think of very often because I'm a victim advocate and I don't think of
right.
things.
I think you do have to tell about him.
Yeah, I wasn't
You weren't
I'm not
thinking
telling
of
on
him.
purpose.
No, I'm sure,
Yeah.
I'm sure, I'm sure.
I wasn't thinking of it. I just kept thinking, like, who in the world?
Is he
would do
someone
this?
that has, access to?
He's a professor of social work.
Okay.
He's
All right.
former military,
Yeah.
but I mean,
But he's
you
not-
don't think about this guy as like, oh, there's the kind of guy.
Right.
I mean, I would more just as like say that maybe you did this.
Right.
It's just relationally, he's jealous.
Right.
Something is bad. This or that. I'm
Something is bad.
I'm just assuming that this isn't true for the moment, but I guess that's not so.
And you have to look at it this way. Telling them this, if anything, will help them disqualify Jenny.
Right. And that's
Yeah.
important to do.
Yeah, of course.
Um,
Do you want to give them his number?
I don't. I mean,
So we can-
I can give them.
They have
I
my
give them-
phone, so-
they certainly have a ton of stuff from him. So I googled Trescott shooting.
Thank you for being here.
You're
So
welcome.
you Googled Trescott shooting, and what do you see?
Just that police investigate shooting on Trescott Drive.
And it's on the news.
And unfortunately, the media here tends to get places, and they can't really stop them from being
Oh,
outside.
how often is there a shooting in like northeast Tallahassee, right?
Trescott Drive.
On
Not so
Trescott?
often.
This is what I can't figure out. How did he get to the hospital? Like, did he call 911?
A neighbor, according to WCTV, here.
And this should be said, the police department won't release his name until they notify
The family.
and them being in Canada puts a little bit more of a wrench into our notification because it's a little bit more difficult to do internationally, but
The
we're in the
police-
process.
and there's really, his injuries are really terrible.
The police got notified because a neighbor. Is it a picture of the house? Oh my
Yeah.
God! You can see the car. You can't
Right.
tell it's our house.
Well, yeah, right.
You
You
can.
can't tell it's not your house. It certainly appears to
Could
be
be
a
my
house
house.
like your house. It
And they say the 2100 block of Trescott Drive. It must be still blocked off. I bet it's going to be blocked
Who
off for
knows?
a while.
it's certainly a crime scene, obviously a crime scene.
But it's like a thorough. I mean, a
I
lot
know,
of people
I know,
use
I
that
know.
as like a drive-through.
Now, this other people obviously knew about this. Danny did show up places today.
I don't know that he had anywhere to show up today. Did he?
Yeah.
Like, did you know? Because like it's summertime. He works from home, right?
Right, but there are people. But imagine if any of us fall off the grid from 11 o'clock this morning. Any colleagues?
That had a meeting or whatever.
Right,
Yeah.
all of the stuff he does over phone.
Right. Well, he and I were supposed to talk about where Ben was going to school, and it was very unlike him that I was the one who had to call him. So, like, he called early this morning. I had a repair guy at the house, and he called early this morning.
See all those details that she gives. I mean, it's almost like if she wants to be a suspect of being the actual shooter, which she can obviously easily disprove. And what I want you to do is to analyze her behavior and what she's doing with the knowledge that we have now.
And I left a message, and then I called him back. I have the phone record. He called at like 9, and he told me he went to Premiere. So he says, I don't know, like I think he went straight from dropping off the boys to go to Premiere, and then he said, I'm going to do an exercise class that gets out at 10:15 or 10:30, and then we can talk after that. You remember how I had a voice thing? Like, I hadn't talked to him. He was like, I know your voice is bad. Like, is today work? And he said we could go for a walk at the law school, or we could talk.
A lot of details. Why is she giving all those details to her friend? Oh, the voice thing for the excuse about why they would be talking today and not before, which is weird, right? I mean, she had a long conversation with this lady just 3 days, a couple of days before about La Casa. Just too many details, too much explanation. Seems to be like she has a whole story planned about the fact that the repairman was at home. And as you will see here, she's about to say that she basically called then Markel at around the time of the murder, very close to it.
And I have this message on my phone from him, which is why I said to the officer, there's no way he did this to himself. Like, 0 chance that he shot himself. You know Danny.
I think there's 0 chance.
0
that
chance.
Danny would kill himself.
Yes, 0 chance. Like, someone did this to him. So he had plans that we would like, I mean, he said this at 9, like, we'll take a walk, we'll figure this out, we'll talk about school. And then I called him at like 11:45 or so and left a message. And that was, I thought weird, but I thought whatever, like,
And
he's in a
you
meeting.
probably thought, oh, good.
Again, she says she called him at 11:45 after weeks of no communication. Suddenly there's this flurry of communication that day, so she knows all of his whereabouts. She calls Dan Markel right about the time of the murder. Maybe she was hoping that he would be shot in the face while they were on the phone. Maybe she's jealous of that teacher who was on the phone with him. Maybe she was supposed to be talking to him when he died, because I think that he was murdered just a few minutes later.
I was really anxious
Oh
about
my
speaking
God.
with him and having this be a contentious issue about
Which
where's
of
our
course
kid
it
going to go to
is.
school.
Oh my God.
And I didn't hear from him, and I didn't think too much of it. I just thought, like, well, he'll just call me later. And then at around noon, I had lunch plans at 1, and I was supposed to go to a friend's engagement party tonight, and it's called a Stack the Bar engagement. So I went to go find bourbon. So I went to drive to ABC Liquors, and I went to go through Trescott, and it was blocked off. So I went around, and then I looked for bourbon, and then I got gas. That's why I was trying to show the officer, like, I have receipts from all these things, but I don't know if it matters if they're at noon. I mean, obviously, like, I would be one of the people that they would think did it.
Well, you have certainly the most contentious relationship with Danny that anyone has.
Yeah.
You know, but
They swabbed my hands.
well, fair enough.
Gunpowder.
They should. I mean,
They asked
they
me if
should.
I'd washed my hands since noon, and I was embarrassed to say I hadn't. I don't remember when I last washed my hands.
Oh God. Yeah, no, I think Jeff is somebody that they should talk
Okay.
to. And I don't know of anyone else.
They were asking, like, does he have gambling debt? Does he have? And I'm like, the only person he owes money to is me. Like, there's no one that he's like, he's a straight shooter, right? Like, he's not an alcoholic. He's not a gambler. He doesn't have a sex addiction. He doesn't, like, he doesn't have any, like, weird stuff going on in his life.
No, he's a difficult guy, but he's not a.
That's what he was saying. He's like,
not-
is there anyone that hates him? And I'm like, he's difficult, but he's difficult
not
in, like, an
liked.
ivory tower kind of way.
He's not liked, but he is
He's
not.
not liked, but he's not hated.
Certainly not, and he has people who love him.
How do his students feel? Like, is he, like, are law students receptive to him? Like, oh, this is a great.
I think there's some that really like his method, and there are a lot who don't like him at all.
So you'd say he's more disliked?
He's a very
feared.
abrasive guy.
Does he challenge you, kind of? Would that be a good?
He's challenging. He loves to argue, so he's fairly elitist. So like the students,
Very elitist. Oh my
students
goodness.
felt like put down by him a lot,
Okay.
and so they feel like insecure. And but again, we're not talking about like hateful and awful. We're talking about like difficult,
Right.
you know.
Right.
Right, and he has colleagues who really don't like him.
But not enough to.
But this is a different, right, it's a
Like,
different, right.
They don't like him. They don't want to go to lunch with him.
Right. No, yeah, no.
He doesn't
this
make
is-
friends easily, but it's not like he makes a ton of
And he has a lot of, and he has very close connections at the temple.
That's what I said. I
mean,
said
he
he's
has-
got Jewish community
he's,
and like.
he's important in the Jewish community, and he's loved, and he's
And there
serious
are 2
academic.
Jewish temples in Tallahassee, or just
It's
one?
kind of complicated.
There's
There's
three
Temple
at
Israel,
least.
which is the Reform synagogue. There's Shomer Torah, which is the conservative one that he belonged to.
Okay.
And then there's Chabad, which is sort of like, it's not really clear. It's kind of like a proselytizing thing.
Another thing, they're going to come up now with the suggestion that they should get a rabbi, that somebody should be with Dan Markel, which obviously should have been another huge concern for her. This is the father of her children. She should have done everything possible to stop this interrogation and have herself contact Dan Markel parents. Let her sister, his parents know what's going on. And maybe even perhaps attempt it herself to get a rabbi. Do all those things that you would do for somebody who's the father of your children who may be dying. And instead, they're casually talking about it, laughing about the different, synagogues in Tallahassee and all this stuff. Just totally crazy and disingenuous to me.
And he like would donate money there and bring the kids to events there and spend time there. So he was sort of affiliated with two of them and bring the kids to stuff at Temple Israel too.
I mean, he's very, very connected across the Jewish community.
Yeah, he's very involved.
He's also very, like, he had a major Jewish education, so he's extremely knowledgeable about Judaism, and he cares deeply about how people interpret scripture and law and rule and practice, and he's involved in all those sort of debates at the community level, and he's very, it would be hard to overestimate how involved he has been in the Jewish community. He has a lot of connections.
And it was kind of one of the reasons why we got divorced, is I'm Reform, I'm kind of culturally Jewish, like we just had really different religious perspectives. I'm in the middle of a fucking nightmare.
I didn't want you to be married to him, but this was not the method.
Well, that's what I said to the officer. I was like, we had a rough time, but
this has been a terrible time.
The father of my children.
Right.
And things were entering a new phase where he has this girlfriend and he's out of town a lot, and that was nice. That's why I know there's just, given his personality and everything, there's no way that he did this.
No, he didn't.
He had plans to be out of town. He was leaving on Saturday.
And he was delighted with Amy. He's been delighted with this.
Yeah.
And delighted with the boys, and delighted with.
No,
he
didn't do this. So somebody did.
He was angry and upset about the divorce. Really, really angry at Wendi. Really, really angry. But really pleased with how things were going to go forward.
It's been 2 years and things for him were a lot better.
There was Team Dan and a Team Wendi. There was a lot of people that supported Wendi through the divorce. There was a lot of people that thought that Dan Markel was a complete and absolute asshole and hated him and thought that she has lots of high-end or entitled friends. She hangs out with doctors and psychiatrists and professors. She's herself a professor. So these are the type of people that don't live in a house and are happy and have rare contact with other people. They are very, very social. So the whole divorce was very acrimonious. There was a lot of support for Wendi. There was a lot of people who hated Dan Markel while the divorce was happening. And those comments that they're making here and that Jane McPherson is making somehow show that, I wanted you to be divorced from him, but obviously didn't want him to be dead. I'm pretty sure that because of that, because everybody knew how acrimonious this was, that from both sides, from Team Dan or Team Wendi, they all would know that number one suspect would be not only Wendi, but her family. And I'm sure that they all knew how involved the family was in trying to get Wendi to move back down to South Florida. So again, if Jane McPherson was there trying to seriously help discover who might have done this or help the Markels, she's really showing very little concern, as did Wendi, because immediate action should have been taken to contact the Markels and in a serious discussion if they were interested in helping the cops. And Wendi she shouldn't, because it's her family, right? So if she's worried that her family did this without her knowledge, again, I would just get the hell out of there and find out from my family. Maybe just go see them. And find out, I hope you guys didn't do this, not just hang around the cops station for 5 hours.
Do you mind if I get Investor Eisen to kind of tell him about Jeff?
I think you should do that.
Let me go grab him, okay?
I can't believe you brought your own drink here.
Well, I wasn't sure how long it would be.
So the person leaving is the victim advocate, Sarah Latorre, who's, I don't know if she's acting like that on purpose or not, but she's acting super, super nice to Wendi. Very respectful and admiring almost.
Here. I was thirsty. I had just arrived home to pour, say, a glass of wine when they called and said, "Don't you want to go to the police department?" I said,
Jane,
"No, not really."
you believe me that I didn't do this, right?
I assume you didn't do this. You know,
I wish I had I was home working on a paper that's due.
well, you know, you've that, you know, you'll
I
have.
sent it in, like I sent edits to
You'll
someone.
have. You'll have.
I
there's
hope
a-
they have the time log.
Of course they will. Of course they will. I mean, all of that is evident. You know, you will. You know, you don't.
I understand why they think it would be me, but
Of course it would be you. But it's not you. I mean, Jeff would be my vote. Now, again, just going by, you know, likely. I agree
this
with you
can't
that
be an accident.
he didn't do this. Jeff, I mean,
I hope to God he didn't.
I know Jeff didn't do it, but I mean, I don't think
Jane,
Danny did.
somebody shot Danny.
Like, to death. Holy shit.
I didn't even know that he was still living. Sarah told me that, and then I started freaking out and was like, I want to get the boys over there. Like, is he scary looking? Because I want, like, if he's not going to make it, but he's okay. Or he's not, like, I wanted the boys to be able to be
Isn't
with him.
there, shouldn't somebody be with him?
I know, that's what I said. I was like, he's there and he's full alone. Like, I was like, is he with?
Shouldn't somebody who loves him?
Yes. Should I go?
I don't know about you.
Someone needs to go there.
I know. I mean,
He's by himself.
I mean, really? He's by himself?
I don't think they haven't called the family yet. They haven't called his parents. They were like, what are his parents' names? They're
I
asking
think,
me.
how about the rabbi?
Oh, that's a really good idea.
How about the rabbi?
Can you ask them?
Yeah, we'll do that
So
right
there's
now.
no rabbi at Shomri, but Rabbi Schnoyer, that's really his name. He, him or Jack Rumberg.
They need to go.
Yeah, that's a really good idea. Yes. Especially if he's not going to make it, so that they
He needs to
can.
be blessed.
If
My
they can.
God, he needs a blessing.
This is obviously pretty ridiculous to me. Of course, there is a potential reality that she's got mental health issues, but to me, it just looks like disingenuous and fake.
Okay, yeah, thank you so much for being here. I was sitting in this room by myself, losing my mind. I was at lunch with Janine and Ritu, I don't know if you know them, friends of mine, and these officers walk in, and we just finished, I ate a lunch, like I had a whole delicious lunch, and they're like, are you Wendi? We need to speak with you. And I was like, oh my God, are the boys okay? And they were like, the boys are fine. And then I thought, oh my God, like,
What's
going on? Like,
fine?
who's fighting me here? And they wouldn't tell me. And so he said, I need you to get in the car. And so he drove me, and I started, I just was like, what's going on? And they're like, your husband. And I said, ex-husband. And they're like, ex-husband? So they didn't have the, like.
Yeah, well, I mean, how do they know? They're just starting this.
So they thought we were still married, and so I was telling him everything, and then I was thinking, oh my God, now they probably think I'm a suspect. I should.
But of course you're a suspect, and you're a smart suspect. You should be the suspect. But I mean, you're not gonna get framed for a crime,
right?
And it is in your absolute interest to, in every way,
tell them
everything, because to the extent that if they don't know whoever did, if this goes unsolved, that's
so
the worst
scared
thing for
of
your
so
boys.
many things, Jane. Like, do you think whoever did this is going to come after the kids?
I'm very worried about that, and I think
I don't want to be like.
I mean, come on. 5 days before, she's telling Professor Lacasse that her brother was thinking about hiring a hitman. Okay? So now Dan Markel is shot. He's about to die. And she's literally honestly worried about herself. Again, if she is worried, then what she wants to absolutely do immediately is find out if it is her family. Not to turn him in. She probably wouldn't do that, and I would understand that if she didn't. But to find out if for real she's in danger, her kids are in danger, if anybody else is in danger, to find out if potentially it was somebody else. Some random act, some crazy person, some crazy person that was after him and her kids. I mean, you would want to find out because she would know the whole thing about Charlie and how serious he was. That's the first thing she would want to know. Not spend 5 hours there, but find out if it was her brother. so that she wouldn't have to worry about anybody else.
Left alone in that house. Like, I want protection. I'm scared. I don't know who this is. I don't.
Okay, well, I mean, you should maybe go and stay, I think you should go stay with can you go to Lynn and David's?
Alan, yeah, yeah.
You
They
should.
have lots of bedrooms. I could just.
You
stay
should,
there
I
for
mean,
a
the
little
boys
bit.
are there,
Yeah.
and
I need to pick up a few
They
things. Like, I would need my contact lens case.
just go there. I mean,
I'm really glad you're here. I am losing my shit.
I wish they'd
Jane,
come back.
This is. They keep doing this where, like, they leave for long periods of time, and it's 5:30 already.
Mhm.
I've been here for a while. I didn't know if, like, I don't know. Are you looking to see if there's more info
No, I
online?
have not this from Danny, from Kara. So I called her.
I talked to Kara yesterday. I was taking a walk around 5. I met a new friend last night, a friend of a friend, this girl Malia. We went to Tallahassee food trucks
Wow.
last night, hung out with her for hours. Are you telling her?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because she also Googled and said, oh my God, there was a shooting, you know? So both she and John,
Why would they Google? Why would that just come up?
I mean, I said to both of them, I'm going to the department, they're the people I said, I'm going to, John was there when I got John got the call from the police officer. So then I'm in the car, I'm like, I'm calling Kara.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm on my way to the police office.
Well, I would have called
And-
you and Kara, but
but-
Kara's in Portland.
Right.
I'm really glad you're here.
So I just
I owe you
just
big
can't,
time.
no worries. And so I'm just saying to her that Danny's been shot and it's serious, because until I know that I can't quite take it, and that's the,
Do you think you could, like, you're allowed to leave the room, can you? Oh,
here they're coming.
Hey, I just wanted to let you know that Lynn just came.
Oh, good.
Just got the car seats in, and she's headed out.
So we have a real concern.
Okay.
Would it be possible for a rabbi to be sent to the hospital?
Okay.
So Danny's very
I don't know.
religious.
Okay.
I don't know if he's
And-
even alive, but
Okay.
We're just really struggling with the idea that he's there alone.
No.
And
Okay.
he's very religious.
Okay.
extremely.
And I'm sorry I didn't think of this earlier, but I can give you the names of the 2 rabbis in
Okay.
town, and I think they should be called.
Okay.
At least he's not, because his family isn't, like, nobody's there with
Okay.
him.
If Sarah, can you write down these names?
Because I think if they could go,
Okay.
whatever's happening,
I understand.
whatever state he's in, some kind of blessing
I
is
understand.
required.
Okay.
Okay,
Absolutely.
so I don't have any phone numbers,
Okay.
but Jack Romberg is the name of,
ROMBERG.
yeah,
Okay.
is the name of one of the rabbis. The other rabbi has a name that's going to take you a while to spell. His name
Sometimes those are the easy ones because I find one and that's the only one there is.
His name is Schneuer Eurichman.
Common spelling on that?
Nice. That's really his name.
Good.
But his
New
last
page.
name is Eurichman. Oirichman. His first name is Schneuer, Schnoyer.
I'm just Googling Rabbi Tallahassee. And
I'll see what I can find. If you'll tear that out for me, and I'll see what I can find.
Thank you.
But Lynn is here. The car seats are in. I've spoken to the preschool. I changed the name. They were fine with that.
Preschool knows that,
Lynn is coming.
okay.
Yes, I've spoken with them after you spoke with them and told them she was coming. They were fine.
Okay. Do they know what's going on?
I don't know. The investigator,
Was
made
there.
contact, so I don't know what all they know.
Okay.
But we spoke with Lynn and said,
She's going to take him to the house?
yep, and
does Lynn
said,
know what's going on?
we explained to her he is severely injured. He may, probably will not make it,
but he
but
knows not to. They don't tell them.
correct.
So they're just going to pick him up, say, Mommy's
Mhm.
in a meeting, Mommy's busy.
Time for McDonald's. Auntie Lynn's picking you up.
Okay.
And then I have her, cell phone number because I knew you didn't have your phone right then. We'll get that back to you here shortly, hopefully.
Okay.
And I told her that you would call her and probably go straight to the house, whether it's us taking you there, Jane taking you there, whatever, however
Does
you
my
need
car
to
need
get
to
there.
stay here?
I don't think so.
Did I gave them my keys,
Yep,
right?
they have the keys because I got the car seats out.
Okay.
But yeah, all that should be done. Unfortunately, just everything's time consuming. So that's, kind of all we're waiting on.
Okay.
Let me see what I can.
Good. We need that. I mean, that's just
Okay,
urgent. That's
absolutely.
Just really
And
urgent.
it's Jack Romberg and Rabbi
You can call them like Oirickman.
or Rickman. Okay?
Yeah.
We'll see what we can do.
Thank you for thinking of that.
You're welcome.
And I did tell him, Mr. Iceland, that you want to talk to him again. So.
Yeah.
And is there a bathroom that I can use?
Yes.
I had a similar urgency need. They made me swipe my hands before they let me use the bathroom.
I
Then it goes to your left.